everybody, and welcome back to Bounce Checks, your Big Brother podcast here on Silent Podcasts. I am filling in for Isaiah, your faithful host, your menace of a host. I don't know if I can live up to his menacing nature. I don't know. But here we are. I'm Katie, and I'm here with my wonderful co-hosts, Josi and Janelle, and we have the pleasure of having Javier with us on this week. Javier, how are you? Thank you for joining us.
Hi, I'm so excited to be on. I love listening to Bounce Checks, and I show up frequently here and there, and I had the time, so I'm excited to talk because I feel like these past 2 weeks of this season have been very enjoyable, and I'm ready to get into it.
I am too. There's a lot to talk about. Josi, how are you? We just talked on Monday. How have you been since Monday?
I mean, I feel like CBS may be tuning into our shows because
I think so too.
That we talked about was like, I want to know what happened with like the whole Black people, Quinn, Angela gate, the crew gate, if you will. And they did. And I was pleasantly surprised. So I'm excited to talk about it today.
Yes. Janelle, how are you?
Good. I'm excited to get into this. I'm happy with how the week ended. I'm rolling my eyes at everybody volunteering for the damn block. But
again,
this has to be a record, but I've been loving it so far.
Well, I'm excited to talk about it. Let's get into it. What did you guys think about, I think we talked Monday, so we had a veto episode and we had an eviction episode. What were your thoughts on the episodes this week before we get into talking about the players themselves? Like, how do you feel like they told the story for us?
Well, we didn't have a lot of point of reference for some of this because
True.
To our annoyance, every time these conversations were coming up, they were cutting feeds. So we don't have a lot to challenge or question because they didn't let us see it from the beginning. So it's really hard to have a perspective when they didn't give us the full picture to begin with.
I think I appreciated some DRs this week. I actually liked the insight that I got from Brooklyn. I thought that was interesting. She's not necessarily someone I think who's at the forefront of the game too much, but she does have a part to play, and I feel like she has somewhat of a bigger presence. So it was nice to really get into her thoughts specifically about this alliance, the Pentagon. I mean, there's so many alliances going on that I feel like the show hasn't covered all of them necessarily. Like we saw the Andersons in passing. Like I just feel like we need like someone who's in like the majority of the alliance, kind of like a Quinn, somewhat. He kind of talked about it, but not really about like, these are all the alliances. And like, I wish people would be like, these are my true loyalties 100%. Like there's so many going on. I know Quinn said to Core and Chemo were his people, but it's not just him in the house, like there are people who are in all these alliances. And I just wish I had like, even if it was like bonus content on the side, like Big Brother Canada, I believe, did this where they had like DR conversations and to get insight. Like I would like that specifically because also like Cedric talked about it on the feeds, but apparently in the handbook, Taylor clarified it on Twitter for those who didn't see it. But he just said how like Big Brother does not encourage cam talk, which is like the main reason why I personally like feeds. I like you to tell me what's going on in your brain because everyone's lying constantly, as they should. But it's hard for me to gauge, especially now when people are discouraged or aren't asking questions to producers like, hey, what does this really mean? So I think that's a little bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah.
I feel I've been really enjoying the episodes actually. I liked Wednesday's episode, and I actually liked even like Thursday's episode for the most part, minus the fact that we didn't get the HOH like even started. I hate when we don't even get it started. Like, give me something about the HOH competition. But I guess with the AI arena comp, it's kind of hard. But yeah, no, globally, I'm actually really enjoying the past few episodes and just the season so far. So
yeah, I feel like, normally the episodes are not the best part of Big Brother, especially Big Brother US. I mean, they're pretty much like carnival games throughout the whole show and like zonky, zany noises. But I do feel like the episodes were kind of vital this week because like Janelle, like you said, like they were cutting the feeds so much. I mean, we had a discussion on Monday about the potential of what happened between, Quinn and Angela and T-Core. And we at least got to see some of it play out. Obviously, there's a narrative behind it, and we could talk about that. I think when we get maybe to ranking Angela this week, we could talk a little bit, or Quinn, or whoever we want to, whenever we want to dig in. But I think without that, we would have been like totally blind. And I'm actually surprised they included any of that in the episode. Like, knowing Big Brother, they usually leave controversial content out. And obviously, you know, they thought it was controversial enough to cut it from the feeds. So I was actually surprised, but in a good way, that they showed at least some of it, and we can kind of form our own opinion on how that went. But I agree with you, Javier. I think not having this, at least the start of the HOH, is a little frustrating. Like, it could be a booth comp, it could take 2 minutes, cut out the 3 minutes of Julie getting mad at the house guests for not gathering and talking, because obviously she's pissed, and just like start the HOH. Yeah, I was waiting up last night to see who was HOH before I went to bed, and I was just like, all right, I gotta call it. And then I just checked Twitter on my phone. I was like, oh, okay, it's Cedric. So we could get that a little earlier.
Yeah, I agree with but I think this twist in the AI comp is going to make it so, at least until this is over, we're never getting a live HOH. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I
feel
think
like
so
they're
too.
not going to squeeze that in to an eviction episode along with AI and a little bit of the recap and what's been going on. That's going to be hard for them to get in there.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised at how much content we've even been getting in the eviction episodes. Usually I feel like they keep the vote pretty long, and we've actually been getting like some story before the vote. So that's been kind of nice. At least we got to see a little bit of Angela and Lisa that was not on the feeds. I mean, we saw her make fun of her walk on the feeds, but we didn't see the twit argument and in the bathroom giving Tucker his clothes. So that was some bonus Angela Lisa content that I didn't even know happened in the house. So I was excited to see it.
What were you guys' reaction to that? Like, to Lisa confronting her, to Lisa being upset in the storage room. I see varying opinions about it, and it interests me. So I'm wondering what you guys thought about it. Because I saw a comment on Facebook, and somebody was like, I had to Google twit to see if it was a slur or something, because she was so upset about it. I was like, I wish we talked to her a little bit, something.
I know, she was a little over the top in her reaction. It's like really not that offensive. It's just basically calling her like dumb or stupid or like, you know, airheaded. Really not that serious to like cry in a corner about it. So I don't know. I was a little Lisa does a lot for me in general. She's like always over the top for me, as is Angela, but I find humor in Angela, and like when she made fun of her walk, like that, it really, that killed me. Like I could watch that clip on repeat. So it just, you know, I choose her just because I find her funny, even though obviously she's a mess in her own right. But Lisa, I just don't even find her funny. I just find her extremely annoying. And like her reaction was also extremely annoying to me.
Yeah, I was like, girl, I was worrying about her if she was that upset, but maybe it's a combination of things. I don't know.
Who knows? Javier, what's your thoughts just on Angela, Lisa? Because we haven't had you on yet this season. So like, what are your thoughts in general about this feud, I guess we could call it?
So the main reason I came on this podcast today was to just cheer on Angela. Y'all, I'm not going to lie to you guys.
Amazing.
I am the biggest Angela stan. I'm just obsessed with this woman, and I just think she just is the gift that keeps on giving. I'm excited to see who she beats with this week. First week was what's his name? Matt was his name? This week it was Lisa, and let's see who's next week, because I'm just so excited for it. But no, genuinely, I'm not gonna lie, I don't love Lisa as a character. I'm sure she's a lovely woman. I'm just talking about her in the game. She kind of annoyed me as well in the game. And like the whole glitter thing was annoying. Just, I don't know, something about Lisa's presence just annoyed me. And then seeing like Angela, you know, I saw some discourse online saying that like Angela was a bit of a bully towards Lisa, which I was like, hold on, like why are we throwing this word bully around? Like, Angela might be doing too much, but I would not call it bullying at all. But no, I love Angela, and it was just, I don't know, the walk was funny, and just anytime Angela beats with anyone, I'm ready for it. So.
And Angela to me is like the type of person where you just need to talk back to them and put them in their place one time and she'll back down. But like no one's doing that, and they're just letting her be a monster, and she's just continuing. And I don't know why no one is standing up to her other than T-Core. But look at what happened. As soon as T-Core held her ground, she started, sobbing.
Yeah, I literally tweeted that. I was like, I can't wait to see who is going to be the person to actually like confront Angela. And that's actually going to be the best Angela beef. Whoever's like actually gives her back. I can't wait for that.
Yes.
Yeah, Katie, I didn't think of that, but I think you're right. I think if somebody bucked up to her, she'd be like, "Oh, let me simmer down. I completely agree. And now I need it to happen. I don't care who it is,
Yep.
but I could see her calming down because they hate her on Facebook. She's the worst ever. She needs to be removed. She's a horrible
Oh my
bully. Like
god.
she is if she is ever off the block and Mackenzie's power is enacted, Angela will hit the block.
Oh, no
1,000.
question. No
They hate
question.
her life. They hate her.
Yeah.
I think it's awful.
I think in to your point, Katie, like we kind of saw Tucker this week kind of put her in her place some
Mhm.
with her trying to like throw Quinn under the bus. And like he was like, nah, like he wasn't taking her too seriously. And I felt like she wanted to do more, but she felt like she couldn't. And I feel like it's the same case with Takor. Like once people, I just feel like, no offense to Lisa, but my sister Lisa, like all it takes is a gust of wind and she feels some type of way. I
Mhm.
just get some thicker skin. Like I
Yeah.
in the business that she was in, like she would have more thicker skin, or maybe it's just because like people naturally maybe like her more in that environment that she's used to, and so she
Mhm.
had to be confronted with what if people don't like me type vibe. And so like, no offense, Angela calls me a twit. I'm calling her a twit back. Like it's
Yeah, like why are you
Exactly.
talking?
I'm like, oh, look who's talking. Like, you know, like maybe that's just me. Maybe that's problematic. I don't know. But I just feel like
No, I don't think so at all.
Me
Lisa
neither.
took it too much at heart. And it's like, you've clearly seen that this lady is, for lack of a better word, insane. Like, it's not just you, mama. Like, we had 2 other confrontations last week and then another one this week before yours, if I'm getting the timeline correct. So it's
Mhm.
just like, at this point, it's not you, it's her. Like, I just thought she would, not care too much.
Right. Same. And I don't understand why people are so mad about this. Like to me, in the world of Big Brother, calling her a twit or like mocking her walk, yeah, it's not the nicest. But I think Angela's really playing this up. We heard her say, "This is Big Brother." Like she's
Right.
thinking that way. Do you know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm just surprised at the level of vitriol I see about it's like silly, petty insults that we've seen on this show. We've seen disgusting stuff on this show, disgusting stuff.
Yes.
This is like
Yes, this
the
is
bottom
nothing.
nothing, right? So
This is
that's
like playground stuff.
yes, this
Mhm.
is child's play. So I'm just like surprised at how many people are just like so like clutching their pearls. It's ridiculous.
I think we've seen, I mean, Taylor alone got it so much worse than what's happening to Lisa. And like, we didn't see the vitriol and like the hate for Taylor's bullies and the people that were harassing her in the
Mhm.
house that we're seeing for Angela. So I'm just surprised. Like, is it just because Matt was like an attractive dude that people are like having his back so much and hating Angela? And because like even outside of Taylor, like even last season, we saw like the way that Jag and Matt were acting in camera. Like we saw like messiness over the last few seasons. Big Brother 21 was a perfect example. I don't feel like we've seen that much hatred towards one person who really didn't even do anything that bad, like we've seen for Angela.
Yeah.
It's weird because obviously, it's also difficult with feeds to really
Yeah.
the severity of everything. That's why to me it's like when we're having feeds cut every 5 seconds, like if you're gonna provide us feeds, provide us feeds. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I just feel like everyone went in on BB Can about their changes and stuff like that. But at least they stuck to the changes they made. Big Brother provides itself on being feeds. You're paying for a service, and yet they still choose to not actually play feeds. And so, like, I can only gauge the situation based off what I know. And it's
Mhm.
difficult because for the longest time, I couldn't even rewind. So like I can't, it's hard for me to judge. And that's what I said with like the whole like Angela Quinn situation. It's like we don't see everything. So if Big Brother only shows us a handful of things, I have to go based off of that, which is unfortunate if the case were to be that the situation is actually more severe than what it is.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Mhm.
Totally. Well, anything else to talk about before we get into these players and talking through their games over the last week and heading into next week? We have our new HOH, we have NOM, so we'll talk about it all. Anything else before we jump into it?
No, I'm gonna drag them personally one by one.
I'm
So-
ready. I think
I'm
they all,
ready.
every single one of them
Yes.
needs to get dragged for one reason or another. So let's jump into it. I will share my screen for anybody watching live. You'll be able to see we're going to talk through all the players and rank their games, but we'll give it a little bit of a voiceover. So if you're listening to audio too, it makes sense. We'll make it make sense. Okay. All right. Well, let's start with the one and only Angela. She's the first one on the list. What do you guys think, Josie? Tell me what you think of Angela's game so far. Does she have a game so far? Like, what are we thinking about Angela?
I think her win equity is at 0. Like,
Yeah.
I really do not see anything good for Angela. So I would put her in my rankings. I would put her as a D because she had week 1 HOH, and I have never seen a blunder this bad. Like, I can put her up with the greats, with Frenchie, with what was his name? I don't know.
Isaiah's favorite player.
Devin,
That season
Devin
6. Devin.
Yeah,
That was his
Devin.
name. Devin. I was going to call him Derek. Like, I just feel like, wow, what a way to mess up your game. So not only did she have a terrible HOH, she, to me, has not done any effort in actually salvaging the relationship that she has. I think she's just kind of like freaking out, like kind of like a duck swimming. Like, it looks fine on the outside. Not really, though, actually, because she's just a mess inside and out. I
Yeah.
take that analogy. Like, she feels like the room that's on fire with that dog holding that coffee cup saying,
Yeah.
not like, she is the root of chaos. Great, entertaining, love that for TV. But in terms of gameplay, it's rough. Like, I don't see, she can say, I am always going to be put up on the block. But at some point, it's like people are going to care about other people more, and she'll just get tossed out, like either last pre-jury or like first jury boot. Like, I don't see anything for her long term.
What do you think, Janelle?
I agree with all of that. She has no chance to win. And I was hoping that this week, after she saw the big mess that she made, that she would sit down and be quiet somewhere. Like, literally, that's all she had to do. She's so lucky they kept her over Lisa. She's so lucky that Lisa's personality didn't gel with everybody else. But I feel like if Angela could have kept her head on straight this week, she potentially could have played a middle or been a number for one side or the other. But I honestly doubt that she's even capable of that. Like, I don't know if she's ever going to be capable of sitting, being quiet, and fitting in with a group. Nobody's going to trust her. They're going to think she's going to blow everything up. She's not going to have any true allies. So I feel like she's just going to be grasping at straws and crying, eating her avocado the rest of the season. Like, I don't see anything good for her game. I agree with Josie. Right before jury's over or early jury boot. That's what I see.
Javier, defend your girl.
Listen, is Angela going to be Big Brother? No. But is she going to give us good TV as long as she's here?
Well, yes.
Yes.
So listen, of course, I agree. Angela's D tier. Like, this woman is never going to win this game. I do unfortunately feel she's going to be pre-jury as well. Like, I see her going out in like maybe a week or two. Because we have Kenny out here boohooing his way through this game. But no, yeah, it's unfortunate. I do think Angela could have been in a good position in this game, being the first HOH. She was in a lot of talks with a lot of the big alliances. She had, like, for example, Quinn, who has such a big power, telling her his power. So Angela had a lot of opportunities to really get far in this game. So it's unfortunate that she has pretty much thrown it all away. But I'm still gonna watch her. I'm still gonna enjoy her, and I hope that we can keep her. I hope she becomes block star and she's here like to freaking final 3. Like, I'm ready to see every week who she's beefing with, y'all. So let's see what happens if she becomes a block star.
Listen, Angela has a little bit of the Taylor curse going on right now because the 2 people that she targeted or gotten beefs with are gone. So let's see if she fights with someone this week and then they go out the door. Like Quinn, it could be you walking out the door this week. You didn't use your power. Maybe you should have. I don't know. I agree with you guys. She's definitely a D. There's no room for her to be anything else. But the one thing I will say is that, like, at least she started a campaign. She apologized to people. She fought for herself. She really wanted to be there, which is more than I can say for probably 95% of the people here. I mean, Kenny actively is like begging to leave after he used the veto on himself to save himself. So, like, I gotta give her that. At least like she wants to be there. I think she might be the only one that wants to be there and play. That's at least what it seems like. So I'm giving her that, but I just think she rubs way too many people the wrong way. I'm interested to see, like, she's on the block this week. That's the other thing. So we have noms. Cedric is the HOH. He put up Kenny, and Angela and Tucker yet again volunteered to be on the block as a pawn, which we'll talk about when we get to Tucker. But I'm just curious to see how she handles it this week. It seemed like she was relatively chill when the feeds came back after noms, but we'll see. There's a lot of week left for Angela to go a little nuts. So I'll go ahead and move her to D.
I want to add before we move on to the next person. She had leverage like on specific people and she just doesn't utilize it. She had a whole alliance group named. Like, I just feel like she has information and all she does is just like yell and like yap about nonsense. Like, you were just in, like, even in the last episode we see her sitting there, right? Tucker, Lisa, Rubina, and who was the other person in that room? Why am I blanking? There's a fourth person. I want to say Brooklyn.
Joseph?
Joseph. That part. And she saw them. If I see these 4 people pawning on me, I'm pawning on them tenfold. I'm saying, oh, by the way, this is what I heard. You know, even when she was talking to Tucker, I just feel like she's just ruined her currency, but she's saying some truths. I just don't know if it's the way she's going about it. I think she needs to have her own version of Dan's funeral. I need her to get a reset. I don't think she can, but I think I need a reset. I need her to like maybe gather everyone together and have a moment, even if she needs to lie. Hey, y'all, like, I'm gonna be so for real. First 2 weeks, I was overwhelmed, and like talk about mental health if you need to. I don't know. Get people to be like, I'm here to play. I want to play and I want to reset the page. I don't know if it'll work, but it might open some hearts. You know, Chemo's a sensitive man. He might get down with the get down. He might be more open spirited. And like, you know, Chemo doesn't know, to my knowledge, I could be wrong, about Quinn's power.
He does know.
Oh, he does? See,
He
never
does.
mind. Take it back. But if he, like, I just feel like there's ways, or like, who's a sensitive soul? Who seems like a sensitive soul? I feel like she could talk to Cedric, maybe even like, I don't know. These people are so strange. She could talk to some common sense to Joseph. I don't know. Like, Joseph's kind of a sleeper pick. I feel like she just needs a reset with the information she has because she has a leverage. Or instead of like threatening Quinn outside, like indirectly by talking to Tucker, she should have pulled him. She should have been like, I know your secret. You know, I know. And I feel like you've done me dirty. So how can you make my game better so I can something? Like, I need her to become like evil, and like not like evil by accident, like evil on purpose. I need her to like submit herself to like being a bad person or like having a complete reset. There's no in between. Like, you can't yell and then cry and be a victim. Like, I need her to go to one extreme and then work it out to win. Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. The thing is, the problem is like nobody believes her, even though she's hasn't really proven herself necessarily to be a liar. Nobody believes her because she's a loose cannon. Like, I don't know if there's anything that she's necessarily lied about. Maybe she put her own version of the truth on things, but I don't think she's ever come out and like lied about a power, lied about this, that, and the other thing. Like, so for Tucker, and I don't know if she told anybody else about the power. She did sit in a group and say like, I know what the power does and I know who has it 100% and it's this and it lasts for this long, but she didn't say Quinn's name until she spoke to Tucker. The only time Tucker believed her was when he was talking to Chemo and Chemo was like, yeah, no, that's true. Quinn has the power. So like, no one is even believing what she's selling, unfortunately. So I just don't know how do you work yourself out of a hole that deep? I don't know.
Yeah, I want to bring something else up just because you brought it up, Katie. Like, I want to shout out Angela's like eviction speech. Like, she really ate that and she really made me believe that she really wanted to be in this game. And honestly, it just reminded me, like, if I ever played Big Brother, no, I would not play like Angela. But just, I feel like I would feel that hurt if I was ever up on the block. Like, I don't know what I would do, but y'all would see me also freaking out if I'm about to get voted out. So I just really love to see that Angela stayed, and just when she was so gagged that she was stayed, like she had no clue. I love that moment as well. So yeah, I just want to say again, like, I just like to highlight Angela's good TV moments. Like, I know we're talking about gameplay here, but I'm gonna keep talking about the fun stuff with Angela.
No, I mean, she's good TV. She's good TV. Is there anything we want to talk about? I know we talked about it on Monday with the Quinn, Angela, T-Core conversation. Anything we want to cover off on now that we've seen it? Or do we just feel like everything that's been said has been, or everything that needs to be said has been said elsewhere? I'm open to whatever you guys think.
I just found it annoying her crying because
Well, yeah, I mean,
T-Core approached her warmly, openly, was just expressing her feelings and why it rubbed them the wrong way. And immediately, it was all about her. And I can't believe you think that about me, instead of focusing on how what she said was perceived. Like she handled it all the way wrong. What you do is, oh, I'm so sorry. That's not what I intended. But instead, she's worried about the perception, understandably, but that didn't need to be the focus at that moment. She's like so offended that anybody would think that about it. No, but you said it. Like you said it. You're mad at Quinn, but you said the words.
right.
So yeah, I found it annoying. She didn't handle it the right way, but I did appreciate later when she returned to T-Core, she said she needed to take the time and listen to what T-Core had to say. So I did appreciate that she came back around and got a hold of herself at the very least.
I agree 100% with what you said, specifically like about the apology. Like I appreciate that she was like, I was focused on the wrong things. Like I should have listened to you. Like, please, y'all, make this a note. If there's any issue with someone specifically related to race, take the moment to listen to the individual in which is it a part of, because that's an opportunity to learn. I don't know if we got the full scope of everything. I think it was a little confusing at times because I felt like there were things like cut sideways and stuff like that. Because at one point, like Chelsea's having that conversation with Angela, but then she's sitting outside when Angela's like, I need to talk to you, Quinn. Like I just felt like I was losing some of the fluidity, and I feel like some things definitely got cut. So again, like I don't know if this is just enough to be like, okay, case closed, because we might get interviews with other people in the future and they're like, actually, like this happened and this is how I feel, blah blah blah. So we'll see. But honestly, Angela kind of made me laugh. Like her going to Cedric and being like, I love
grabbing him.
I'm not racist.
I was watching that with my 3 younger cousins and we just busted out laughing. Like I could tell that Cedric also wanted to laugh because like it's like, Mama, that's not the issue. No one's calling you racist. Nowhere did someone say you are racist. And she was like, I love you, Cedric. You know it. I'm like, Mama, like
poor Cedric.
Poor Cedric. He tried not to laugh. And I think he's a good man, but it was funny. It was funny. I did giggle.
Agreed. I definitely giggled at that as well. The only thing I will say, like, Josi, you made some great points. I do feel like there's a lot of the story we don't know fully. And, you know, I'm excited, honestly, to hear really T-Core side further. You know, when the season's over, hopefully T-Core makes it to the end. But, like, I would love to hear how T-Core, or further how T-Core interpreted the situation, since I feel like she was the main person being talked to from both. She was in the outside and she was also confronted inside. Because the rest of the crew, I don't know if they have a name yet as an alliance, none of them actually were really part of that whole altercation. So I would love to hear like T-Core's entire perspective on how everything went down.
Yeah, me too. And I just have to give a shout out to T-Core because I don't know how old she is, but I do think she's relatively young. Like she's in her 20s, right? Early, mid 20s, but she's young. And I feel like she handled that situation with such grace. And she was so gentle with Angela when she really didn't have to be. So shout out to her. And like, even just to be so forgiving of Angela when Angela really like just lost it. And, you know, she didn't have to be like that. So I give her a big shout out on how she handled that. We could talk about Quinn when we get to Quinn, because I'm curious your thoughts on that. But like, yeah, Angela, she just needs to. I think, you know, I don't want to offend anybody as that's in Angela's you know, age range or in her demographic, but it's just like typical of a older white woman to act like that when they get called out. Like, hopefully, you would be somebody that has like, you know, educated yourself or read things on the internet, but like, you know, these are the women that elect Donald Trump. So what can we expect from them? Right. You know, but you know, do better, Angela. It's good that you apologized, whether it was from production or not.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job actually doing it. All right. Anything else before we move to Brooklyn?
Yeah, we can move to Brooklyn.
All right. Janelle, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on Brooklyn?
I love her. Like, I didn't give her two thoughts. Like, when I was watching the intro packages for people as I saw her through the house, but the more I see her, the more I get to know her, the more I like her. She's not the most exciting, she's not the most fun feed. She's real reserved, real laid back, really, really even killed, but it has worked for her because many people like Brooklyn. Many people want to pull Brooklyn in. Many people see Brooklyn as an asset. So her affect, how she is, how she moves through the house is working for her. I would love to play. I mean, I would like to be exciting, but I would love to be like as laid back and as reserved as Brooklyn because nobody's viewing her as a threat, but yet they still want to work with her. I want to see, I saw her fighting for Rabina today, which I really, really liked. I want to see, I would love to see her in power because I really want to see what kind of chop she has because I think she's got it to go pretty far. So I'm liking her. I would definitely like put her BC. I think she's safe. I think she's not hitting the block anytime soon. And I think people are going to continue to vie to have her on their side.
I think Brooklyn is doing a really good job of adapting to playing with people who have no idea what the show is or what this game is, because clearly she's a fan. She's been a fan for a long time. I think the only other actual fan in the house, maybe Joseph and also Angela, but it seems like
Quinn?
everybody else, oh, and Quinn. But it seems like everybody else has no clue what this game is and what they're doing. Like Kenny, I guess his wife is a super fan, but he's not clocked in. So, I have to shout Brooklyn out for being able to kind of like meld against like how these other people are playing or not playing and kind of like fade into the background and not overplay. So I'll give her a shout out for that. What do you think about her, Javier?
So honestly, I think Brooklyn's in a really good place in this house. So I know how we're talking about like there's so many alliances. I do think that at least at this point in the game, like the Pentagon seems to me like the alliance that, like, if I had to bet money right now, I'd say one of those 5 is winning this season.
Yeah, me
like
too.
I genuinely feel like the Pentagon is going to be that alliance that's going to stick together from all of the ones we've heard, and Brooklyn being part of that puts her in a really good place. And I think that Brooklyn, she just has a personality that a lot of people in the house are going to gravitate towards. And as long as she doesn't ruffle any feathers, I definitely see Brooklyn making it far. The only thing I fear for Brooklyn is, will she be able to win competitions? Because unfortunately, in Big Brother, like, you need to win, like, she needs to win an HOH, a POV here or there or something. And I don't feel like she's going to want to, because she's not going to want to ruffle any feathers because she's in such a good place. But she's going to have to somehow maneuver that, because I feel like at least in Big Brother US, like, it's really hard for you to win without getting some competition wins under you. So we'll see how she does with that. But I do think overall Brooklyn's going to get deep into this game. And I would also put her in like the B range.
What do you think, Josie?
I think for me, Brooklyn, her game's kind of like really in the middle. Like, I feel like people who are at the top right now have to like really work to maintain that. Whereas like that's an easy fall from grace. And maybe Brooklyn, if she's proactive, can kind of go up the ladder. But I do, from what I know of the alliances, she is working with the same people. Majority, like the Pentagon is one alliance that she's in with Chelsea, Cedric, and Cam. She's also in Barbershop with them. And then she is in the Girls Alliance with Chelsea. So there was this conversation about how like her and Quinn are 4 and 5, which I appreciated. Like, thank you, self-awareness. But I almost wish that she wasn't like us 2, like we just need to beat them 3. I think that she has the perfect leeway to kind of just like really insert herself above Quinn, maybe even above Cam, because of like his mess with like Leah. And so I just feel like I want her to be proactive in that and not just being like, okay, I'm 4 and 5, I'll figure out a way to ditch. Like, no, like you can instill yourself, especially since the 2 people who are the 2 last HOHs are people within your alliance who have spoken to you. I feel like I've seen Chelsea talk to Brooklyn more than I have seen her with Quinn.
Yeah.
I've seen again, the BB Rewind situation. But alas, like I think I want her to be more proactive in that sense. And I want her to really instill herself more with the other girls. Like, I know that there was a talk about a girls' alliance. There's always a talk about a girls' alliance, whatever. But I just want her to feel like every single girl within that alliance is like, I will never put you up. Like, I want her to feel that security because God knows what Kenny's going to do. And Joseph, I don't know what his equity is at. So, like, if she could really instill herself with the women and Tucker and navigate and push herself upwards with those like core 3 people that she's always in an alliance with, I think she could win. Like, I do think she could win. I don't know when's the right time, but I think she needs to like start putting in the work so that week 4, week 5, 6, 7, 8, like she would have done all that slow build up to get to a point where she's comfortable at week 8, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. To me, it feels like yeah. To me, it seems like she's the type that like, if she won an HOH, like Chelsea, I don't think Angela, we already talked about, she didn't do a good job of building a power structure around her. Chelsea, I think, just like stayed with the people that she was already with and like solidified the Pentagon a little bit. But like Quinn is all over the place. She's already not trusting Cam. Like, it really just feels like she has Cedric as her like number 1. And that's, she's with the girls, but like MJ and Leah, we'll talk about them, but like, who knows where their loyalties lie. Brooklyn, to me, feels like if she could win HOH next week or even the week after, she could be in a really good position to like build something that is more strong, because it just still feels like everybody is like finding their footing because of like, there's people in the house that people don't like, so they just want them out. No one's taking really a shot. Like, no one's really like playing hard yet. And it feels like if she got into a power position, she could really like kickstart the game and maybe start playing from position of power. Like, I feel like she has the chops to be able to do that.
I just don't know who she would put up. Like, that's the thing.
Right.
Like, who does Brooklyn put up on her HOH? Because the smartest move for her, it would be to put up all men.
Yep.
Looking at the men available, if Kenny goes this week or whatever, who knows with that man, then it's like, who's she gonna put up? Joseph and then 2 other people. Is she gonna put up Tucker? Because Tucker is like well liked. That could ruffle some feathers. Is she gonna put up Chemo? That can ruffle some feathers. And she's in 2 major alliances with Cedric and Cam. So I don't really know what a Brooklyn HOH could do so that she's like not in a bad spot. Like, I feel like she has a little bit like she has a lot to lose if she becomes HOH with the people remaining. Like, she would have to win next week, or I wouldn't want her to win until like lines are drawn and people are actively going against her.
Yeah, it's actually a really good point. And once whoever goes this week, whether it's Angela, whether it's Kenny, it's probably going to be one of those 2. It's kind of like who's the easy nom moving forward. It's like whoever is left, yeah, but then like you still have to nominate 2 other people, potentially a 4th person. So it's a good point. So for Brooklyn, what do we think about maybe a C for Brooklyn? Do you think she's a B?
I would maybe put her at B because I'm looking at other houseguests and I'm putting them in C. Like, I'm putting them.
All right, I like that.
There's still some B's in there.
I was gonna say I am mostly D moving forward, but we'll get there as we get there.
Okay, no, because
wait, let's stick with
your low key. Like,
I know it's true.
The issue is Angela to me is just so dead in the water. Her D is for dead in the water that I have to put everyone else above her.
Fair.
Brooklyn does not belong in the group of the people I'm thinking that are in C because they're atrocious.
Oops.
Right.
How do I do this?
Dead in the water.
Row below. We'll make it like blue.
Dead in the water. Please just name it dead.
D is for dead in the water. Yeah.
Dead in the water. And what color can we make it? Like
Let's
purple or whatever.
Purple, yeah.
Okay, there we go. And we'll move her. Okay.
I know
Great.
that stands are mad, but let's be for real. Great TV.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
It's the truth. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's the truth. Okay, moving on to Cam. Javier, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on Cam so far this season? How do you feel like he's playing? Is he playing a different game, a different show?
Yes. I was waiting for you to say that. I don't think Cam has his head in the game. I think from the beginning, I think Cam was one of the ones who's like, he would like a showmance. And I think he has something with like Leia based on the feeds and all the talks and stuff. So like, good for Cam that he's in the Pentagon. So he'll probably make it far in the game. But I don't see Cam winning this game. I don't see him thinking like, what are my next steps to win this game? And I think you need to really start thinking that way if you want to make it to the end. And I just think Cam is kind of just going to vibe his way along with the Pentagon. And he might win a few comps here or there. But I don't see Cam winning this game unless he somehow gets his head in the game. I think, honestly, sending home someone like Leia would be good for Cam's game. But I would love to see Cam is another person who would like to see in power to see who he would nominate. Because I feel like Cam is another one who doesn't really want to ruffle any feathers. So we'll see what happens with Cam. But I don't see it for him.
Yeah. Josie, what do you think? Also, shout out to Tim. Hey, Tim. Tim in the chat.
Hey, Tim.
Cam has a few advantages coming into the house. Tall man, physically fit. Okay. I don't know, ex-football player, whatever. There's a lot of those men, so they all to me go in the same category.
Vessel.
Like very much that. Like every man ever, I guess, like plays football and then like ruptures their I don't know what it is. Don't
something.
So to me, it's like Cam, all he needed to do was not being a showman. So that's literally all I needed him to do. He got pulled by everyone to be in an alliance pretty much because he's like, just look at him. Like he literally has, that's what I mean. Like people start the Big Brother game steps ahead, depending on what you look like what your build is, what your gender is. Like if you're a guy, you immediately have it just a tiny little bit easier. Like, yes, like, oh, you look like a threat, but no one's gonna go after you unless they're Karen from season 5 from Big Brother Canada. Like, no one really does that anymore. Like, I guess Angela did it with Matt, but like, I don't know if I can really attribute that the same because she just did not like Matt. I don't know. And it's annoying that he squandered all his potential for going after a girl who apparently doesn't even like him that much. Like she's jump, like we know her type, and Kim is not that. I think she's bored. I think she's lonely, and I think she wants someone to like flirt with for the time being. She wants her hot girl summer in the Big Brother house, and it's like, oh, Cam's just like there. Yeah. Which is unfortunate. Like you were in such a good position and you're squandering it over a girl that you might not even see after the game is over. Like it's just really annoyed. I'm annoyed by him. Like what strategy does he bring to the table? Like what does he bring? Like what does he bring? Like all he had to do is sit there and smile and nod and win a few competitions and be like an anchor of support for his alliance. And he does not fulfill that. So like he could go, quite frankly. I don't think Chelsea's gonna cut that tie, but if Cam was smart, he would get rid of Leah, but he's not because men don't really think with anything other than their. So here we are.
What do you think, Janelle? I have thoughts.
So I think Cam, in one part, is kind of refreshing. He doesn't appear to be like a Monty Jared behavior in the house. Seems like a nice, compassionate person. So I was like, whoo, like I didn't have to worry about that because we've had a couple of seasons of those types of men. So I was refreshed by that. But like, he's such a dud as a player so far. Like such a dud. I don't think he strategically has the chops to win, honestly, or even to get to the end. Unless he has a crew that just keeps on winning. I don't think he has the foresight about the game. I don't think he's thinking steps ahead. He's not even taking valid warnings about his relationship with Leah seriously. It's like in one ear and out the other. I don't know what he's working with up here either. And I'm not trying to be mean, but I don't see it for him. Seems like a nice guy, seems like a compassionate person, blah, blah, blah. But game chops, I don't think he has it. And Takor was worried about, like, I don't think we can go deep with Cam. I think she can because I think she'll be perfectly fine. I think she could potentially run circles around him, game strategy wise.
Yeah.
So he's a C- for me, maybe ranging into the D because I don't know what he's doing. Like,
I give him a D.
I think
he's a D. He's a D for dud. because all this man talks about is Game of Thrones. That's the only thing I hear him talking about on the feeds is Game of Thrones or movie quotes with the boys or flirting with Leah and telling him he had like a sex dream about her, which I'm like, okay, we're on the wrong show. Like Love Island just finished. It was an all-time great, amazing season of Love Island. If anybody hasn't watched it, shout out to Peacock. But like, you're not on that show. You weren't brought in as a bombshell. You're here to play a game. And you would think that he would have at least learned like something from watching Game of Thrones because there's some strategy in that show, given that he like talks about it nonstop. But yeah, I think he did himself a huge disservice. Like Leah doesn't even want to play the game with him, even though like she's not considering him an ally. So it's like even the flirting is not doing anything for his game with her, which is at least the benefit of a showmance. She's just flirting with him just because she's bored or whatever. And it's totally burned the bridge between him and Chelsea because Chelsea doesn't trust Leah. And unfortunately, maybe fortunately, depending on how you feel about Leah, but I think it's going to benefit Cam because she's going to go for Leah before she goes for Cam. He's just going to float his way through. You know, I think he's let me down a little bit because I thought his intro package, he seemed like a really nice guy, and he does seem like a really nice guy. Like nothing wrong with him. But he's like a little boring. He just is like a football player, an attractive football player that like hasn't, I don't know, like that he's just getting by on being athletic and charming, and that's exactly what's happening here. But there's nothing going on upstairs. I agree with you guys.
He just seems
game
like
wise
a good guy. He seems like a good guy.
Nice guy.
But this is not the show for you, sweetheart. Like,
Yeah.
I know the recruiter was like, let me get some diversity. Let me get someone who's attracted to get into this house. But not every recruit can come to Big Brother. Okay. Like, it's okay. It's okay to reserve them for other things. I know Love Island is no longer a part of CBS, but like, I'm sure you can fit him on like, I don't know what exists. Maybe The Amazing Race. Like something like it's just he's not cut for the Big Brother house, and I just wish he was like I wish he was strategic because he seems like such a good guy. But it's just
I agree. I had high hopes. What do we think about a D? Are we comfortable with a D for Cam? I think he has to prove himself up to a C for me.
I agree with D.
Okay.
I will say that the season's early, so maybe Cam can surprise us. It's only
he can. There's only room to go up. Can't go much further unless you leave the house. So like, you know, there's room to grow.
He could be dead in the water.
He could be dead in the water. He could.
No, because like all it takes is for him to wake up once. Like,
exactly. Like there's room.
Maybe he could have a dream about strategy, and that will be his talk at the time. I don't know.
And not Leia.
Yeah, he needs to go find the little thing that Mike Boogie found in season 7 to clear his mind, let's say. I think that was season 7, right? Let's move on to Cedric. Josie,
right.
What are your thoughts on Cedric?
You know what? Cute boy. I just feel like Cedric is like I could be wrong. I think he's the youngest, correct?
Yes.
Like he just to me, he oozes innocence. Like, and I think that he could really play into that. I don't think he's like that into the game where he's like, I'm gonna use my my innocence or like how I look naive and like use that in the game. Like, I don't see that, but I think it's working for him because I think people just like trust him. I think this was a good week to win HOH because again, like this is a week where you won't have blood on your hands, you know, like putting up Kenny who's crying every other day, Tucker who volunteers, and then like Angela who's just dead in the water. Like it's a good week to be HOH. Like him and Chelsea had the best weeks to be HOH in my opinion because they're right there. They're serving themselves in a platter. And you know, I think right now people might think that he's under Chelsea's control, which makes Chelsea a bigger target than him, which is good for him in the long run. But I don't know how, again, tapped in he is to like really playing the game. I feel like he's learning slowly but surely, which is why I feel like there's a difference between him and Cam. Like, I feel like when I listen to him speak, I feel like, okay, you might have not come into this game with knowledge, but I feel like you are slowly, like today I witnessed a conversation between Brooklyn himself and Chelsea, and I was like, yeah, like you're holding your own. Like I feel like you know what you're doing, and that's really good. But it's hard for me to say because I think what's difficult with this cast is that there is no no one who's willing to draw a line in the sand.
Mhm.
So right now it looks great. This is going to be a great HOH week for him. I mean, maybe Rubina is looking at him a little sideways at the end of this week, but like he really didn't do any harm directly. I think the issue will become if someone wants POV. That's when I'm going to be a little bit concerned. But there are some people you can kind of throw in there. Leah lied about the map vote. MJ with her power. Like but then even with her power, someone else has to go up. But that's kind of not in his hands. It's on a
Yeah.
So I feel like that might be the smart move for him. But we'll see, Cha. I see potential for him. He kind of reminds me of Derek from Big Brother Canada season 6, who was in a showmance with Kayla. Kayla taught him about the game, and he was able to really make it his own. And I feel like Cedric might be under Chelsea's wing, who will help him navigate. And I think he might be able to stand on his own. But we'll see. It's hard to see for the time being. But for now, I think he's doing a good job.
It's funny that you say Derek from Big Brother Canada, because I could also see him being compared to maybe Derek X if he keeps winning competitions and like learns about the game as he plays. Like he's, totally obviously a recruit, really doesn't know much at all, but I think he's at least thinking he has a good game sense so far. He's picking up the game. What I didn't love today was that he made an alliance with Tucker and Kenny, and basically their goal is like to go after the women. And I don't really love that, especially because Kenny's like ready, like almost 2 full feet out the door at this point. Like I really don't understand what his goal is, but Cedric, I think, is really smart. I think, it's boring for us these last few HOHs, but it's good for them in the game. So I can't be like that mad about it. They're all doing the right thing, but I just want some people to wake up. Like, I know everybody's really scared about Mackenzie's power, but and saving Leah, like he wanted to put up Leah. Nobody trusts Leah, but he was scared that Mackenzie was going to save her. So put Mackenzie up next to Leah and just say Leah's a target and I can't have you save her. Like there's ways around it. You don't have to be so safe. If that's who you really want to go for it. But Javier, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that Cedric is actually in a good place in the house. I think you all made a lot of great points. Like I feel like he's going to be well liked by everyone. Excuse me. But the one thing, since like this is my first time on the podcast, I want to talk about Cedric, is that I remember when I saw his intro package, he was talking like he's big on this like loyalty to Final Two, like loyalty to Final Two. He's like blah 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 blah, and I that rubbed me the wrong way about Cedric when I first saw him in the game, and I do feel like that is the game he's gonna play. You guys comparing him to some other people. He's reminded me a lot of, this might be crazy, but he's reminded me of Cody Calafiore a little bit. Like I can see Cedric being well liked by everyone, so no one's ever really going to target him. He's an attractive dude as well. He can win competitions, and I can see him going to the Final Two with like if he makes a Final Two with someone from the Pentagon, with a Cam, with somebody. I could see him going to the Final Two with them. So I don't know. I do feel like Cedric. I agree with you guys. He's picking up the game really fast, and since he's so well liked, I can see him making it really far in this game. And I think he's positioning himself well. And I think this is like you mentioned, Josi, this was a good week to win since it's so obvious who to put up. So I actually have pretty high hopes for Cedric at the moment.
What do you think, Janelle?
I'm not sure about Cedric. I mean, I like his energy. He's like on a level 10 in those DRs. Seems like a nice kid. He reads very young to me. And I agree with what I think Josi said about he's seen as like under Chelsea. But I'm worried that he's going to be looked at as Chelsea's lapdog. And I'm afraid he actually might become Chelsea's lapdog. I don't know. Something about him reads, I could steer him in the way for which I want him to go type of player. I'm not sure if that's true. Time will tell. He was listening to a lot of people today, and I felt like whoever gets to him last is going to get their way. But I think he's a middle of the road kind of player. I don't have as much faith as you guys have in his abilities just yet. I think I need to see a little bit more, but I think he's in a great place. The only people he got looking at him is Leah, and that is because Quinn was in her ear. If it wasn't for that, and I don't even know if Quinn is even on or off the Cedric train anymore. And that's the only concern I have for him, Quinn and Leah. But he's a middle of the roader for me. I'm not sure what I think his game chops are exactly just yet. I need to see more.
Yeah, you bring up a good point about Quinn because I forgot, I guess it was last week or maybe at the end of Angela's week. I don't even remember, but I guess Quinn was thinking about targeting
Yeah.
Cedric and Cam. It seems like he's kind of come off that a little bit and is working more with Cedric, but like Quinn is a little bit of a wild card to me. Like I don't really know where his loyalties are or who he actually wants to work with. So like I don't know that this was the best week for Cedric to win. Like he would have been safe, I think, no matter who won. So I didn't think that he really needed to win this especially because he's working so closely with Chelsea, for them to win back-to-back weeks, I don't think was the best game move, but I don't know what the competition was and if it was easy to throw it. But yeah, I think to me, he's middle of the road. I think he's very nice. I think he seems very kind. He's been very empathetic with Angela and like very nice to her. Like I think he's socially very good in the house. So that gives me hope for him to do well moving forward, to keep like the radar off of him. But I think if he keeps winning competitions that he doesn't need to win and then has to get blood on his hands, I don't know. Where do we think we want to put him?
But let me add, can I add one thing?
Yeah,
It's also,
please.
I don't know why it's so annoying to me. Chelsea said this last week. They're afraid, like, oh, if I put up MJ and Leah, they're gonna come after me. So what? Like they can
Yeah,
only get
this is
you
the
out.
game.
Yes, if you have the votes. Like they can only if they put you on the block, they can only get you out if they have the votes to get you out. If your alliance has your back, you're gonna be fine. Like they're just so like, I'm sure that's easy for me to say, but they're like, they're gonna come after me. Well, so what? They have to win first, and then they have to have somebody behind them to get you out of the house. So them all being
Yeah.
afraid, I'm just like, you gotta put people up. Like this is the game, like you said. That was annoying to me.
I'm actually really glad you said that, Janelle, because I was thinking about this earlier when, there was a lot of discourse about who the noms were going to be and that he wants to put up Leah, but he's scared of the power. And I actually feel like this is a really bad game move for him and Chelsea, if that's who they want to go for, because they're taking numbers out that could be numbers to get out Leah and Mackenzie, and they're leaving Leah and Mackenzie in the house as a duo to build numbers around them. So it's like almost taking away the opportunity, potentially, if you're keeping them in the house with the ability to build something around them, it makes it harder for you to get them out later. They should just be going for them right now. So I'm glad you brought that up because I did want to talk about that a little bit today.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, that comment can kind of be said to anyone. I know Cedric is HOH, but like, I don't see anyone else winning HOH and not doing what Cedric just did. Like
Yeah.
I don't see
Right.
anyone taking the shot. Like
Tucker.
Maybe Tucker. Yeah, he's the only one I think.
really, though, because like
That's what he said.
my thing is about Tucker is that he's all talk, low key. Like, you know what? Like, okay, like you got Lisa out. Now what? Like that was your whole personality. Not to say that I'm anti-Tucker, but let's be for real. Like the past 2 weeks, all we've heard about Tucker is that he's a protein chef, whatever. I don't even know what that means. And then
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
that was so valid of Lisa to say that in the DR because I frankly have never heard of that position. It's a job. It exists. I love that for you. And then two is that you hate Lisa. Like I have not learned anything about Tucker that I don't know makes him stand out to me. I just feel like a Tucker HOH, like it could be root. Like I'll talk about Tucker when I get there, but I just feel like it could have been another Angela HOH in my opinion. Like I don't like Cedric did the safe move, and safe move is not entertaining, but it's a good move for week 2, week 3. Like like no one's gonna do anything wild until they don't have a choice. That's why week maybe 4 or 5 HOH, even though it's like a little bit later than we would probably like as viewers, are the most interesting weeks because it's going to establish what the game will look like moving forward. The first 3 weeks are like whoever's annoying gets put up on the block. It's giving old school Big Brother in a sense where it's like, okay, who's pissing me off? Who do I not like? Who's not talking to me? Like it's very much that. Like I can't blame the first 3 HOHs except for Angela because that was a blunder on like doing the moves that they do. Like
Yeah, I think for Cedric, if I'm Cedric, at least being Katie sitting in my home in Queens, New York, is that I would like to keep Angela as a number for me because whoever takes in Angela She's not going to come for you. She's going to be loyal to you. Clearly, she loves Cedric. We saw her grab him. We saw him hug her. She's sobbing into him. Like, she's liked him from the beginning. Use her as a number. Put someone else up. Maybe put her up as Arena, I'm sure. But like, say like, I'm going to leave you off the block for now. You might have to go up as Arena, but I don't want you to go. Like, talk her through it. And then like, maybe take a little bit of a shot. I don't know. There's people you could choose from here. So I just wanted to see something. Like, Angela doesn't have to go. You could use her. Like, she could be a great shield for you. Same thing I said about Chelsea on Monday was that, like, you know, she offered to like, I'll go off on someone for you. I'll do this for you. I'll be your number. Like, use it. Use that. I think people need to use that. It's a powerful thing to have someone be your mouthpiece. And you could also just like say that later in the game, like, I had this person totally under my control. Like, I almost feel like he's getting rid of a good shield for him. If I want to keep Angela for as long as possible if I'm in that house as a shield.
But that's, Katie, you're smart and you're into
Thank you.
Unfortunately, most of the house is not into the game.
Yeah.
Like, people I feel like have good game knowledge to see your perspective are people who, one, don't actually need Angela, or two, have no actual power over that decision. Like, to me, this is such a good argument. But Cedric, unfortunately, he's not a gamer. Like, Cass is not gamer. So to me, when I'm like talking about them, I'm keeping in mind the fact that these girlies probably got recruited. Like, they don't really know what the game is. They didn't do their research, because there's been recruits who come in and they study the game a la Anthony Douglas. You know, like, to me, it's like absolutely valid point. But I don't think anyone will see that until maybe week 8.
Yeah, it'll be too late. Way too late. All right, so where do we want to put Cedric? Do we think he's a B? I think he's more C range, but you guys tell me.
I agree.
C for me.
C? Okay. We'll put Cedric in C.
Like, passing.
Yeah, passing. Speaking of C, what do we think about Chelsea?
I like her. I think out of the entire cast, she's one of the more capable players. I know last week her noms were completely safe, easy, no big moves. But that's fine for me in like week 2. Like Josi said, like, this is early. It's nice to do like the safe route to keep yourself in the house. I wished, like we talked about this before, I wish she would have used it to build more things around herself. She did use it to solidify her alliance, but I thought she could have done a little bit more for that. But moving forward, I still see her as safe. I don't hear people talking about nominating her. I hear people debating on, choosing her or Brooklyn for alliances, wanting to work with her. I think socially, she's one of the best people in the game. She's aware. I think she's smart. She's clocking stuff. She's talking about, she's all over Cam and Leah with right on race, and she's spreading it. People are making comments about that. They seem annoyed about the fact that she's talking about it so much, but like, they're stuck in a house with nothing to do all day long. They have nothing to think about the game. And if it's right in her face, of course it's going to come out a lot. So I don't blame her for that either. At least she's keeping her focus on the game. It could be worse. She could be playing patty cake like Leah and MJ. So I like her. I think she's doing great. I think how she's positioned so far, I see her definitely making jury, and I'm hoping that she goes further than that. I would definitely put her at a B if it was for me.
Yeah, I think I think that Chelsea is in a good place in this house. I think she's very well liked. I think last week with her HOH, I agree she didn't make a big move, but I do think that I think that now she's kind of like the brains of the Pentagon, and I think that was her big move last week. And I think in the Pentagon, the other 4 will always trust Chelsea more than they'll trust the others. So that's what I think Chelsea did with her week as HOH. So that's what makes me think that Chelsea's in a really good position. So if someone who's outside of the Pentagon, if something does solidify and they go for the head of the Pentagon, that's where I'm a little afraid for Chelsea, because I think they'll go for Chelsea. I think that's the narrative that the house is going to go with. And even we're seeing it right now with Cedric. Like, people already think that Chelsea has a lot of influence over him. And I actually do think she is the brains of the Pentagon at the moment. So that's my only fear for her, that if the other house gets wind of the Pentagon, that they will target her. But if she can keep up her game as it has been up to now and keep making good relationships with everyone, I do see Chelsea making it far in the game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Chelsea has a really good personality, and I think she has a good personality just to be social in the house, but she's also really smart. So I think that also just makes her a little bit more of a threat than like a Cedric, who, like you guys said, just reads very young. And, he's kind of just mimicking Chelsea's HOH. So it's like he could even make like a little bit of a bigger move, but he's doing the same thing she did. So it almost is going to seem like it's just week 2 of her HOH because she went first. So I think that could make her a little bit more of a threat. I don't remember who Kenny said he would have nominated. I think he did say 3 women. I don't recall I know he said Rubina. I don't remember if he said Chelsea, but I feel like maybe he did. If anybody heard him, or if anybody in the chat knows what he said, but those are the things I worry about for her. I totally agree with you, Javier. But I did hear, Lisa. I'm sorry, not Lisa. I did hear. Oh my God, Leah and MJ want to have more of an alliance with her, and bring in Brooklyn into that alliance. So if she can have the Pentagon and then also have the girls fighting for her, then I feel much better about Chelsea's position. So if they could solidify that, then I feel like that's a really good spot for her to be in. What do you think, Josie?
I think her HOH week went great for what it was. Like
Mhm.
I can't say it went bad or good. Like she got what I believe is an easy week. In terms of what she did with that week, I feel like she didn't really upset anyone. MJ came up to her and said, "This is the power I had." And while everyone was like, "Put her up," she didn't. And I feel like that is causing ramifications in the sense that MJ and Leo do want to work with her now. You see? So
Mhm.
I feel like while like everyone was like, "Oh, like that needs to be the move," it is giving her good karma, for lack of a better word. I think what I would like to see from her is to solidify something a little bit more with Takor, because I feel like these two are in some of the best positions in the house. They have probably the most information and maybe even the most influence on different people. And I feel as though if they could work together, that could be an ensured like final 5 almost. Like the way the house is shaped, like I
Mhm.
think that could be really really good. My concern is that she's at the difference between her and Takor is that she's a little bit more in the forefront. Now that she's had an HOH, people see her a little bit more. I do think she's a little bit more, I don't want to say outgoing, but I feel like she's just a little bit more out there in comparison. And so I think she may be more likely to be in the forefront of people's minds in comparison to a Takor, or like some of these like more under the radar players, which is hard because I feel like half the house is playing under the radar because we've just had these 3
Yeah.
big targets in quotation who've pretty much been served every week. Like we got a Matt, we got a Lisa, we'll get a Kenny, we'll get an like an Angela. So I just feel as though at this point, like again, like it's so based off almost nothing because
Mhm.
nothing has really happened in the house except for Miss Angela, who's dead in the water. So for me, like I think she has good potential. I would just like her to maybe sneak under the radar because I think if someone takes a big move, they might shoot at her.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Definitely.
I
Yeah,
think so.
definitely.
Do we think I don't know if I'm convinced that she's A tier yet. I want to see a little bit more from her. I want to see like real gameplay and not like the easy noms. I'm comfortable with B. What do you guys think?
B
B
I
for me.
agree.
Would we put
Above
her in front
Brooke,
of Brooklyn? Yeah, I think so too.
in front of Brooklyn.
I think so
Yeah,
too.
I wanted to piggyback off what Josie said. I think I agree that Takora and her would be an awesome team. I think that they could strategize and like attack things together well. I
Mhm.
think the personality, they talk all the time, they get along, they're like great dynamic in the house. But Chelsea definitely, her personality commands more. Like if they're both walking into the room, I think she would command more attention than Takora would be more likely to stand and watch and observe before she jumped in on anything. Chelsea would be more so the life of the party, I think. So I
Mhm.
I,
Yeah.
I worry for her too, but I really hope that her and Takora can somehow get on the same page because they really could be a force if they did.
They almost give me like Tiffany and Hannah vibes. Like they can work really
Yeah.
well together, but Hannah's just a little bit more quiet and reserved, and Tiffany was just more
Yes.
out front. Like even in Chelsea's intro packages and like the first few days, she kind of reminded me of Tiffany, just the way she was talking to the camera. Like Tiffany used to give us that cam talk all the time. Like they just have very similar personalities to me. And I feel like not that she's a strategic mastermind like Tiffany, like obviously Tiffany was a super fan, but I just think like the combination of the two are very similar to how like we could see T Core and Chelsea work together. But I think that, you know, obviously Hannah went out in a double. I think T Core could be very easily out in a double. She could go very easily in that same way. But if not, I think she's probably, you guys are right, that she's in a better position because Chelsea is just a little bit more out front than T Core would be if they were to link up a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Joseph. Joseph has not given me much, so I'm curious what you guys are thinking about Joseph and where you would place him. Not that it's a bad thing necessarily that he hasn't given us much, but what do you guys think? Josie, what are your thoughts on Joseph?
Every time I see Joseph on screen, I want him to shave the mustache. That's the first thing I think of.
Please, God.
Like my cousin, I watch Big Brother with my 3 cousins, and the youngest one is actually afraid of Joseph because of the mustache.
Oh,
I think it would be best if he just shaved it. I don't know if it's a part of his brand. I don't know what's going on, but King, please, I beg, like shave it. I can't listen to you half the time because of the mustache. I generally don't like mustaches. Okay, if anyone's trying to move to me, if you don't got the beard that connects, usually I'm not for it. You know, I needed a little connection, or it needs to really suit you. Because there's some guys who can rock the mustache, you know, singular, and it works. This particular one is not for me. It's a no. Luckily, we're not on Love Island. We're on Big Brother. Joseph is the only one who had mentioned, to my knowledge, the comment about keeping Angela, which is very smart. I'm like, hello, thank you. Someone who's thinking. The issue is that I think Joseph started off such on like a good foot from the edit. And then it's like he almost like disappeared. Like he has
totally.
game capital. And that was who I was referencing when I was saying the people who could use the strategy that Katie was talking about earlier could be a Joseph, but he has no capital. If you look at the alliances in the house, he has like some sort of final 2 with Tucker. But like, okay, is that really valid? I don't know. And then he has an alliance with Quinn and Chemo, but like he's just kind of there. Like I just feel like he has the common sense. Like I feel like if he got into a power position, he could maybe structure some things. I don't know. I just think what could have been great was if the collective actually was a thing, and Andrew kind of shot it down for him. And because of that, I feel like I don't really know where he falls in the game. I don't really know what happens to him. Like I just feel like, you know, when people are asking like who should you put up on, who would you put up if I was HOH, people can say Joseph very easily. I don't think a lot of people will protect him, and that's a really bad position to be in. I need him to solidify more things because he is intelligent. He likes the game. I know that he has some common sense. It's just that he has no one or no social equity to like do something about it. Like I don't know what needs to shift, because is it too late already? Like, is it like everyone kind of has their place in the house and he's just there? Like, I don't know if people are so open to like working with someone you don't expect. Like, it's just really weird. Like, I don't know what he needs to do to be in a better position, because I wouldn't want him to just make an alliance with a group of people and then people are like, look at this dude like trying to make an alliance when blah, 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 like he don't even know. Like maybe he just needs to get really, really close to a pivotal player, and then like that's his way up. I don't know. Like I'm curious to know what you guys think.
I like week 1, I was like all on Joseph. I was like, oh, he's gonna be good. Even the way he would approach Angela, how he talked to Angela, even his strategic talks with Chelsea last week when she was HOH. I saw a lot of promise from him, but it's like that week with Angela where he was trying to work with her, try to build an alliance, and then she blew it all up and then thought about nominating him. He put the brakes all the way on. And it's like he went to his bed and like he stopped playing for like days at a time because it like spooked him or something. I was like, Joseph, get back in here. So I think I agree. If he can get in with the right crew, he would be perfectly fine. But the problem is that he's not. And he almost got pawned this week. Brooklyn was like, put Joseph up. Joseph. I think a lot of people, since he's not really in with anybody, like you said, Josie, nobody's protecting him. He's likely to be pawned, and I don't want that to happen because I think he has a lot of promise if he's with the right people. So I think what he needs to do is win. And unfortunately, isn't next week the last week Quinn can use his power? Does anybody know? Is it next week or the week
I
after?
think so. It's 4 weeks. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess that would be next week, right?
So next week, I feel like Quinn's gonna put his power on, and if Joseph would win, it's gonna be snatched away. Maybe not. I don't know. But to me, what Joseph needs to do is Joseph needs to win and get in with somebody like a Chelsea and stick with T-Core and pulling chemo. Like, I feel like there are players that he could mesh with game-wise. He just got to get in there. I think he has the capability.
I totally agree with both of you. Joseph was my first pick in the draft because I just felt like he had really good game chops, and just from the first few days of the feeds, because we drafted, I think, on Friday, he seemed like he had just a really good game sense, and the way that he was working with Chelsea and Angela in the beginning before Angela just lost her mind, I was super impressed by even just that trio, but more so the duo of him and Chelsea. Since week 1, I have not really seen that duo. Like, he did go up to the HOH and strategize a little bit with her, but like, he should have been up there way more. He should have been trying to get solidified in whatever power alliance that she was building. I feel like they had a really good thing going, and he just really, it's almost like Angela was like the bomb, and then, you know, it blew up everything around her, and like then there are these people that just like floated like ash in the sky, and like some people landed and some people are still floating. Like Joseph is a piece of ash that's still floating, and I just don't know if he's gonna land anywhere, because Josie, I agree with you. Like, I don't know what he can do to put himself in a better position, because I do think next week, like, if Quinn really wants to cause chaos, and it seems like he's the type of player that wants to cause chaos, a Joseph HOH is the perfect HOH to deep fake. And because whatever Julie said of like, or Ainsley, whoever said it, that they can do like deep fakes of the HOH and spread misinformation, like Joseph is the perfect person to do that too, because he is aligned with nobody that we can see. So I'm worried for him, but I really do feel like he could be a good player. It just, maybe this is not the cast for him. I don't know. What do you think, Javier?
Yeah, no, I think Joseph, I agree. I think Joseph has like a good head on his shoulders, and I feel like he understands the game to an extent. But I think that analogy you made, Katie, was great with the bomb. And yeah, Joseph is kind of like, another word I used to describe Joseph would be like, he's kind of expendable. Like, I see him like getting to week 5, week 6, and then they don't know who to target. So like, let's get Joseph out because he has no alliances anymore. And unfortunately, he's not taking any or agency in his own game and actually trying to make relationships with anyone. I feel again, I do feel like the past 2 weeks of the show are overshadowed by a lot of the big people like Angela. So I'm hoping that maybe when we get like the Angela story done, the Kenny storyline done, maybe then we can see a bit more from Joseph, because I do feel like this is all really overshadowing any potential good gameplay, unfortunately, this early on in the game. So I think Joseph has a very slim chance to potentially make something work with some people in the house. But it's going to be rough. I think he's going to be fighting his way from the bottom to not be expendable to most of the house guests.
Yeah, I do want to give Joseph a shout out for giving us some camp talking about how annoying Kenny is for wanting to quit, and like, this is a reality show. Like, thank you for being on the same page as us. Like, I do really like Joseph. I don't know where he can or should land. And I'm stuck. Like, I want to give him a C because I feel like he has a lot of potential, but I almost feel like he needs to be a D because he could very easily be a renom. He could very easily go home. What do you guys think?
I will put him in D. I just fear I don't have much. Like, there's not much he's giving. There's not much I fear he can also do. I really think he needs to. He has connections with Quinn, with Chemo, with the core, with Chelsea, some very valuable people in the house. It's just that, like, he's not a priority for them, and I need him to become one, because that's when I think he can start doing something. And so because of that, it's like, is Cam technically in a better position? Because Cam's in like these alliances that he is not in. Like, I think he's, not doing much, but like, Joseph has nothing almost.
People will
unfortunately.
definitely protect Cam over if Cam and Joseph are on the block, Joseph is going. Cam is staying 100%. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think
Yeah.
for that, I guess we have to put him here,
And
right?
Josie,
Yeah, and a
you
D
should have
behind
for a
Cam.
D for me. Cause like I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to this next loser.
Dead in the
Yeah.
water.
Do we put him in dead in the water? I mean, we're talking about Kenny for anyone who's not watching the stream. I mean, this guy has no clue if he wants to stay, if he wants to go. He asks to leave and then he's making alliances. He's been asking, he wins the veto, takes himself off the block, and then is crying all week after taking himself off the block. Like, this guy is a whirlwind. He's a roller coaster. He's so annoying. He is the worst type of person to cast on this show. I'm like annoyed that he took a spot from someone that actually really probably is a super fan who wants to be there, who's been applying for years. Like, they put him in for what? Because he's a retired cop? Like, that's who cares? Like, we don't need a retired cop in every season. Like, give us something else.
They wanted him to be the second coming of Derek, and I fear it was never going to happen. Quite frankly, he's a loser. He's a
Loser.
freak. I hate people. I hate people who come on the show and literally take a spot from millions of people who applied to be here. So many people. Your wife would have probably wanted to be here over you, and yet you.
Oh yeah.
And instead of being grateful of the opportunity, I'm not saying that Big Brother is like sunshine, rainbow, and roses, okay? I know there's a mental health aspect to it. I know there's a longing process to it. That's why it's a social experiment. That's why it's difficult. It's a great game. And you freak, have come on this show, taken a spot, complained all the time, cried, and literally wanting to sacrifice your game for Matt week 1. Freak, idiot. You went in sequester to sacrifice your game for a guy you met 2 days ago? BFFR. And you didn't even tell him you were a cop. Like, you make no sense to me. You're a loser. You say you want to go home, you get put on the block because there are people in this house who still want to be here, and then you go and you win veto. Please, pick and choose. Pick one. Stay in your lane. Pick one. Like, you can't keep doing this. It's literally driving me insane. There is no way that I'm in the house, or if America gets to vote for a winner, because sometimes they get to do that. I don't know. I would never, ever give him a vote to win. So even if he did make it to final 2, he bitched, he moaned, he complained, he cried, he lied. He was pathetic. He's a freak, and I want him laugh.
I mean, I don't know who could say it better than you, Josie, but Janelle, what do you think about Kenny?
You said, I believe it was you said, like, when things are going well for him, he's like excited, ready to play. Like, he was all in those strategy talks in that storage room today. Didn't seem like he wanted to go home to me. So I think it's exactly that. When he's down and out, oh, woe is me, I want to go home, I miss my wife and family. When something's going well for him, he like wants to play the game. I find it very annoying. They freaking love him on Facebook. Oh, Kenny, you gotta.
Of course they do.
He's done nothing. What do you love? What do you love exactly? He's done absolutely nothing. They're like, that's his strategy. He doesn't really want to go. I'm like, you idiots. I just can't with the Facebookers. But yeah, in the water. He's dead in the water for me. I'm with Josie. If he got to the end in some way, shape, or form, I'm not voting for him. Something like miraculous would have to happen. He'd have to do like a complete 180 and become a crazy strategic mastermind that ran over all these people. Like, that's literally the only way. I don't think he's going to get the vote to win. I don't think he's going to last that long. I don't think he has the capability mentally to last in the game. So I'd put him with Angela personally. He can go.
What do you think, Javier?
Get Kenny out. I've never wanted someone to actually walk. I want him to actually do what he's saying and leave. Like, bro, walk out that front door and stop wasting everyone's time. If he stays longer than Angela, I'm going to be mad. We see Angela crying to stay in this game, and here's Kenny boo-hooing his way through the freaking game. Just walk. Please save Angela this week, and I hope Kenny walks. Like, that's like, I can't stand this man. I didn't like him from the moment I saw his first interview. I don't like his weird relationship with Matt that first week. Like, now Matt's making like freaking like TikToks and dressed up in like,
that is weird.
Matt is a freak. Matt is a freak. Matt and Kenny are freaks.
Matt is a true freak. Angela was right about Matt.
Kenny, walk out that damn door. I'm sick of hearing this man complain on feeds. this weird little trifecta with Cedric and Tucker. I really hope it's a joke and it's not real. Because if Cedric saves Kenny for some reason this week, I would be very annoyed. But just get out of this house, Kenny.
Cedric
I have some
and
things to
Kenny
say
have
about
gone
Tucker.
though.
Yeah.
Cedric
Yeah,
and
he
Kenny
told
have
Cedric that he was a cop because Cedric
Yeah.
told him that he was in the military. So
Mhm.
like my biggest fear is a Kenny HOH.
Oh.
We know he wants to target the girls. I think he's just the type of player that we never want to see in power. You don't know what he's going to do. He's going to throw the whole game upside down. And then like all it's going to need is like a letter from his wife saying like, get it together, bitch. And, pictures of his kids. And then he's going to want to stay there for the whole time. And it's like, no, we just got to get him out this week. Do not even risk letting him get power and letting him get even like a taste of home because it's going to reinvigorate him. And then he's going to want to play. And I love Brooklyn for being real about like, I don't know if you guys saw the clip of her where she was talking in the HOH room where how irritated she was about Kenny wanting to leave because she's like, I had to leave my kids too. And like, I had to push my kid away and leave the room because she wouldn't stop hugging me. But like, I did it and I'm not here crying about it. Like, it was hard for me too. I'm pretty sure Kenny's kids are grown adults as well.
Mhm.
So like, what are you so upset about? I do not understand.
It's like when I look, I think what makes me so annoyed with Kenny is because we are lucky to be in a space where we know people who apply for this show
Mhm.
every year.
Yep.
I am sick when I go on my timeline. I see people who are like, I just really wish I was on this season. Like, I think I saw one of my friends talk about how like every season someone literally gets casted with his name or whatever. And I was just like, I'm thinking about like someone like him or like some of my other BB mutuals and thinking about the fact that they would die. They would sell a kidney.
yeah.
They would do multiple things to get on this show. And it's wasted on this freak of a man. It's so annoying. It's actually annoying. And that's like, to me, he has no redeemable qualities whatsoever.
Zero.
He doesn't even want to work with people who are actually it's just, he just reminds me of everything I dislike about this game. And like, I want this man out. And I don't even know where to put him because at least he has a little bit more win equity than Angela, but Angela wants to be here all of the time
Right.
and he wants to be there half of the time. And I can't stand him. I would rather vote to give Angela the win.
Oh, me too. At least she's trying.
Right.
Like everything about this man reminds me of what I dislike about this show. Everything.
Yeah, this is like peak Big Brother casting that like we've been complaining about for however many years, like where they need to fill this archetype and it's just like no one wants this except Isaiah for whatever reason. Yeah.
No one wants another Derek. Derek is barely likable as it is. No offense to the man. Sorry to this man. I don't know you personally, but let's be real. No one wants another BB16 Derek cakewalk. Like no one wants that. It happened for a reason. It was great television for many reasons. The people on the show, how things ended, blah, blah, blah. Great winner. I can't take anything away from Derek, but that doesn't mean that now every season from now on, I want to see a cop who pretends not to be a cop and try to be cool. Like, no, I don't. Like, I really don't. Like, please get this man off my screen. Please get this man off my screen.
I'm with you. I think we're all with you. I put him below Angela because, like we all said, at least Angela wants to be there. And this man, I wouldn't even give him half the time wants to be there. I think a quarter of the time wants to be there. And if he wins veto again this week, I'm going to lose my shit. My shit.
Like, I would love to see this man on 3 weeks of slop. Are you still going to be here?
Yeah, get him, put him as, well, there's no have-nots this week too, which is very weird. Week 3 already, no have-nots.
Put that man on slop for 3 weeks in a row. Let me see if he's still here. Let me see.
He won't be. All right. Well, I put him below Angela. Let's move on to Chemo. I think Chemo, all he had to do was make it through week 1 on the block, and I thought he would be in a good spot, and Chemo is in a great spot right now. I personally feel like I think he's making really good connections with people in the house. He has really good personal connections with Tucker. He has good personal connections, obviously, with T-Core. He's good with Rubina. Him and Leah seem to really get along. Like, he is very nice and comforting to Angela when she cries. Like, I think he's doing a really good job of just being very nice and supportive and getting to know people in the house, but he also is a thinker. And I think he really has some good chops. And I think it's good that all he had to do was survive and then fade into the background. He's doing exactly what I think he needed to do. And I think he's in a really, really good spot moving forward. Javier, what do you think about Chemo?
So I do think that Chemo's very well liked in the house. And I think that, yeah, he has a lot of good relationships, but I don't feel that, again, Chemo's another player who, to me, he's in a similar realm in my brain as Joseph. Like, I just haven't seen Chemo really do anything in this game at the moment. Like, he's, besides like building, I haven't really seen Chemo's game talk, I feel. So maybe you guys can fill me in a bit more on that, on what Chemo's doing to actually further his game besides being a nice guy. Because I feel like, yes, being a nice guy is great, but I think at the same time, Chemo's another one who, he's not that in with the people who I think are in power, which to me are the Pentagon. So I think that puts Chemo, to me, like, not in a good place in the house. I do like Chemo, but I just don't see Chemo. I also see Chemo as someone who people would consider a bit expendable when if he's not really in one of those strong alliances. That I haven't seen that from Chemo yet. So,
Josie, what do you think? Sorry, Janelle, you go. Go ahead. You started.
I also like Chemo. I love the duo of him and T-Core. I feel like I like the way they think. Their games, like their game thoughts, seem to really align a lot. I think that if his crew that he's working with, T-Core, Quinn, maybe even Joseph, like if they can get power, I think Chemo will be fine for a while. I think not many people are looking at him to target, but I also see him being an easy pawn for some, that because he has such a nice affect, like he's very agreeable. Like, I don't know how much, I hope he would push back hard if anybody even suggested to him being a pawn. But I think he's like a middle of the roader for me right now. C, I would put him in.
What do you think, Josie?
I'm taking y'all's thought into consideration with my what I was thinking, because in my mind, T-Core and Chemo, to me, have the most information in the house as a group. And it's hard for me to attribute, because T-Core and Chemo and Quinn kind of just share this information amongst each other. But he gets the benefit of the doubt of, like, I don't think anyone will feel betrayed by him. Like, I feel like, we'll talk about Quinn, but I just feel like people who are in a similar boat as him will suffer more negative consequences than himself. And I do think that, to your point about him being agreeable, how that could be like, oh, like he'll forgive me if I put him on the block. I do think that this house is not strategically savvy that much. And so I think their strategy is, who do I like least? And I feel like people are like least likely to be like, I'm gonna put a Chemo because I don't like him. Like, I just feel like Leah rubs people the wrong way, MJ rubs people the wrong way. Like, Kenny's annoying as heck. Like, like Tucker could be a little bit like, it might annoy someone, or has caused it. Like, he could do something to piss someone off to the point where he goes on the block over Chemo. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like, again, we also haven't seen much in the house because of these like big targets that are in front of everyone. But I just feel like, in terms of knowing information, being on the know, which is the most important, he is leaps and bounds ahead of some of these people in the house. And also, if I could compare him to another player, it would be Cedric, because like they kind of have these Black women leading the way for them to potentially maybe outshine them later on if they do their thing. But I think Chemo is very loyal, like Cedric. So for me, I think Chemo is above Cedric just because he's in the know, I feel like, a little bit more. But if you think about it, Cedric's in more alliances than Chemo is. So it's just very interesting. I really can't wait for Angela and Kenny to be out of the house to see how this game shakes up, quite frankly.
Facts.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree with points that you all made. I think Chemo, the thing is, I think if Chemo goes on the block, I think he's okay, depending on who he's up against, because, I think people save him over Joseph. I think Tucker is probably rubbing some people the wrong way, especially because he just keeps volunteering, and we'll talk about it, volunteering himself to go up on the block. And Chemo obviously wants to be there. He's very close with T-Core. He's very close with Rubina. Again, I think Leah really likes him. Like Quinn obviously shares information with him, and information is currency, as we always continue to say. And like Tucker only believed the thing about Quinn's power because it came from Chemo. So obviously he has like influence and he's sharing information. I don't think it's wise for him to get into power right now because I think it'll put more eyes on him. And I think he's in a good spot where there aren't a lot of eyes on him. But it is like, I think with additional nominees and then potentially someone coming off the block and having to have a fourth person go up, like it is a little scary that he could be a replacement nom or a pawn. But I do think he would be safe depending on who he's sitting next to. Like unless he's next to like a Cedric and a Chelsea. And even then, they're bigger threats than him. So I think one of them gets voted out over Chemo. Like I think in most situations, he'd probably be okay.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's just so seen with the core all the time.
Yeah.
He goes on the block, she goes with him, and vice versa. So that very sticky situation. And quite frankly, who is Chemo without the core? That's the real question. Like I don't know who, other than being nice, I don't know who he is strategically without the core. And worrisome when you're in the final and someone goes, "What have you done without the core?" Like that's. Yeah. And is it too early to start thinking that way? Maybe, perhaps, but at some point, you need to do the work to just be your individual so that we can take into account. And that could be baby steps. And then you can sprint when you're at the end.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
The only thing I want to add is just the way that I'm looking at these rankings is like, who do I see making it further in the game? So I think Josi, you said you would have put him above Cedric. I just don't see Chemo making it further than Cedric. Like, so to me, it's hard to put. I think Chemo should be in C, but I think he should be below Cedric because I just feel like Cedric's going to make it further than him in the game. And that's kind of how I'm thinking in the rankings at this point. Like at this point in the game, like if you take a snapshot of the house, I think Cedric makes it further than Chemo. So that's why I would put Chemo below Cedric.
But I think Cedric's a bigger target than Chemo.
Me too.
Chemo
gives me 5th place vibes.
Okay.
4th place, maybe.
I could see that.
Cedric gives me get him out in a double or right before jury or first juror. That's kind of just like where today, if I had to place them in like my hypothetical spot, that's where I think I would put them.
I think because I also saw Chemo win a competition. He's tied with Cedric. Like if you think about it socially, like he's in a good position. Strategically, I think he's better than Cedric. And physically, well, technically they won the same amount of comps. So like
and he's less out there as a threat because the comp he won didn't put him in power. It just saved him. Right. Where I think Cedric, especially being the HOH right after Chelsea, it's going to make the Cedric Cam Chelsea final 3 alliance or whatever they are more of a, we got to weaken them. We got to take someone out where Chemo's going to be shielded from that, I think.
Good point. Janelle, what do you think?
I'd put him probably above Cedric, honestly.
Well, majority rules. I hear Javier.
We'll come back to this when Cedric outlasts Chemo, y'all.
Okay.
So I would even put Chemo in B, but I won't go that far yet. We haven't. I know I'm a little extreme, so I'll put him at the top of C. But I could see him at the bottom of B, maybe.
Guys, off topic, did you guys see the comments there? Joseph saying that we can rewind feeds again.
I did see Joseph in the chat said that we maybe have the chance to rewind. I know that we were able to do it on mobile by just hitting the back 10 seconds, but I don't know about the web. So if anybody has any thoughts,
let me maybe turn on my BB viewer.
Yeah, if you want to test it.
Initially, it didn't work, so maybe things have changed.
Give it a little test. Let us know.
While
you're taking a look, let's talk about Leah. Janelle, you seem ready, so I'm going to hand it over to you.
I don't like to harp on people, but I am not a fan whatsoever. She's not interesting to me. She's not funny to me. She's not engaging to me. She's how I read her is so unauthentic. Like, I don't like
Mhm.
anything about her. I don't like how she plays game. I don't like even the way she approached Chelsea on Chelsea's HOH. I knew I didn't need to come up here and talk to you. Huh? Block. That's what I would say. Okay, you can go on block then. Like, that's what I wish Chelsea would have said to her. I don't know where her head is. She's not really aligned with anybody but MJ. Has no solid alliance. I don't know Cam, but like Cam is looking out for her, but like I don't like the game she's playing. I don't like showman's games. If you're not really about somebody, leave them alone. Like I don't like that kind of play. I just don't like her, and I was really hoping that she would hit the block this week. I don't think she has a chance in hell to win. I don't think she has any strategic mind. I don't know what she knows about this show. I'd put her in D, very close to dead in the water, but no, she gives nothing. She gives absolutely nothing game wise. She's cute and that's it. Period. Point blank. Nothing else.
I
Javier,
feel
what are
like-
your thoughts on Leah?
so Leah to me just kind of to frame this, like when I went into the season, like I actually really liked Leah's personality and I thought that Leah would be like a fun person to watch on the show. And then she fell into this like Matt and Mackenzie trio and I was like, all right, it's a wrap. Like I can't stand Leah anymore. Like why did she fall on that side of the house? It really annoyed me. So it's really unfortunate because I feel like Leah, to me, actually, Leah has like a fun personality, and it's just that now she's aligned with the wrong people. So now I'm not like I ended up not liking her for that. But no, I agree with Janelle in the sense that like I think Leah has no chance at winning this game. She might make it a bit further because she will keep flirting with Cam, maybe, and that little showmance can get her further than let's say Mackenzie. But I don't see Leah's long for this game, and I kind of hope that she outlasts Mackenzie, and I hope that that changes her game because so maybe Leah just become a bit more interesting when it comes to her gameplay if Mackenzie's not in the house. But right now, like I don't see it for Leah.
Josie, what do you think?
Boring, snooze, next. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't really have much to say about Miss Ma'am. She thought she was on The Bachelorette. She was giving roses to people who didn't even know they were contestants, a la Tucker. Like, to me, it's like I'm so over this cast, quite frankly. Like, I just don't. I had hope. You know, VP cocktail waitress. I thought maybe, just maybe, we might get some like old school BB, little nasty man eater vibes. And I was here for it. I was here for it. Ready to be subscribed. I was ready to like, comment, share, do all the things. And lo and behold, I have her blocked. Like, I'm not interested. I don't really care. I don't know what she can provide to the game. Like, quite frankly, like, what is she here for? Like, like when her and Cam were dirty talking, like, I've not been interested in her since. Like, I don't care to listen to what she has to say. She rubs people the wrong way sometimes as well. Like, next.
Yeah, to me, she is just vapid and she's selfish and she's frustrating to listen to. She's an immediate feed killer to me because she only talks about herself. Like any conversation, she comes in and she makes it about herself, and it's just so frustrating to listen to. And I'm so with you, Josie. Like if she, and we talked about this too on Monday, like if she owned it, if she's like, yeah, I'm gonna eat these men alive, chew them up, spit them out, just so I can win the game, I'd be like, yes, okay, you're thinking, you want to play, you have a method here. But like she's just bored. And like, again, how many times do you have to hear about your pajama sets? How many times do you have to hear about your grandpa? Like, I just don't, no one cares. No one cares. And I feel bad for people like Rubina, who has said multiple times to T-Core, like, they both had, a lot of conversations about how like people just come in the room and talk over me and they don't listen to me and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, she just can't check herself. She has no self-awareness. She can't turn herself off. And I just find her really annoying. I worry about her winning a competition because I feel like she is really trying to win competitions. I don't know what she would do with power, and that scares me a little bit because I just don't feel like she's even invested in the game. I don't know where to put her because I feel like aside from Chelsea, she's in a decent spot. Like I think she's okay with Brooklyn. I don't think Brooklyn is coming for her. I don't think any of the guys are coming for her other than now Cedric, but Cedric has a perfect opportunity to put her up on the block and get around. He's not doing it. So it's like the further that she makes it, the less people that are going to be around to vote her out. And I see her making it to jury, probably.
Yeah.
I just hate wasted potential. Like, I think she has some things set up for her. Like, Quinn is at her feet, and this man is
Yep.
like, I mean, like, not to spoil our conversation about him, but this man has his hands everywhere. Like, that man's a little greedy, if
Yeah.
I do say so myself. Like, it's just like she could leverage these men. Cam is in also some alliances as well. You know, she has her ally, her number one ally, who has a known power that can benefit her. Like, you know, and I do think she wants it to a degree, or else why would she have been crying? Oh my God, I was so close to HOH.
Right.
Like, to a degree, she wants it. It's just, to me, it's like wasted potential, and that's what's annoying. Like, that's why I want to put this girl on snooze. It's because, like, she came, she has something. Like, I think she's in a better position than Joseph, because at least
Yeah,
she
me
has
too.
one ride or die ally.
Yeah.
But besides that, I don't know. Like, I feel like anyone can put her up. Like, quite frankly, like, Brooklyn maybe not, but like everyone else on the screen right now could easily put her up. Like, the only person who would not put her up that I would like, you know, maybe Cam and MJ and Quinn, but that's it. And even at that, it's like,
I don't think Chemo puts her up.
I mean, he
I
could.
don't think
Why wouldn't he? Like, he
I
doesn't
think
have an
they're kind of friends. I mean, I don't know if they have an alliance, but they're always together on the feed.
That's the issue. She has nothing special going on. Leah has nothing special. She has a flirt, dirty talk mance, and she has men who are at her feet, but she's not leveraging properly. Like, ugh, like,
Yeah, she got in the position that she's in because she's cute. That's it. They thought she
that's
was
what I'm
cute.
saying. If she pulled up and she was not like giving, you know, what she looks like, I don't think she would even be here.
I don't think so either. I think her personality is annoying enough to be first boot. She's more annoying to me than Lisa.
Gorgeous
But she's
girl.
cuter than Lisa, so yeah.
Gorgeous
I just
girl.
don't know if I would even put her in D though. Like, I do feel like she could be bottom C, because I just feel like the past 2 weeks people have been talking about getting her out and they haven't made a move to do it, and she's just gonna continue to like build more relationships and get more comfortable.
That's because there's easy targets in the house. She is sticking with Cam in the D section. Okay, she wants the D. She can stay in D.
I would put her right above Joseph.
Like, I will put her either
Really?
above Cam or in between the two of them. But she is not getting C. Like, she's not. Anyways, yeah.
I'll put her above. I think she should be above Cam, because we've at least seen her try and play a little bit. Like, today she wanted to make an alliance with Chelsea and Brooklyn and Mackenzie, and she keeps trying to bring the girls together. She's trying to talk about game. I haven't seen Cam talk about game since week 1.
I mean, I can't, you know, like, I'll put her, I'll make a compromise. As long as she stays in this year, she can go wherever. Quite frankly, like, that's what I'm saying. She has potential. I don't think Leah is D material, to be quite frank. I don't.
Yeah. I guess that's why I'm struggling with D.
It's annoying that she doesn't tap into her potential. It's like, why are you here then? Like, like that, like,
TV time.
I'm telling you, some people are here for the TikTok followers, the whatever after. But I'm gonna be so real. There's so many seasons of this show. Not everyone can become influencers. You know what? Let's stick to the 9 to 5s. Not everyone is supposed to be an influencer.
It's true. She'll be on the challenge one day.
No, she won't. Because
she will not. She'll be on Love Island.
Like,
perhaps
she's on a cute Love Island games.
Yeah.
You know,
perhaps.
Maybe even
what's
an
that?
episode.
What's that Netflix show? Perfect Match. She could be on Perfect Match.
All right.
She should have went to Netflix. That's what she should have done.
Yeah, she is Netflix reality tier. Like, that's like her caliber as Netflix reality show.
We would have ate her up. She flopped with her choice. She did.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. What do we think about her bestie, Mackenzie?
D.
Okay.
Right below Joseph.
Interesting.
Really?
Okay. Tell me more.
D or C?
D.
He said D.
Oh,
D.
I'm going to have
I
a
just-
controversial opinion about Mackenzie, I think, but go ahead.
I don't know. I feel like Mackenzie is, to me, in a worse spot than Leia. I feel like less people like Mackenzie than the people who like Leia. Like, Mackenzie The only thing I'll give Mackenzie is that she has this power, and for some reason, people are scared to flush it out, which is insane to me. Like, why has she not been on the block and just flush out her power? Whatever it is, just do it. But again, like, I don't see Mackenzie making it far in this game at all. Like, I think Leia is more well liked in the house than Mackenzie. And I think Mackenzie's still in this game because people are afraid of the power. And I think the moment her power is used or wears out, like, she's going next week. Like, I don't see her making it further than that. And I don't see her making any strides to, make any alliances outside of Leia. Like, at least like you said, Katie, like, Leia sometimes talks to Brooklyn. She talks to the other women. So I've seen that more from Leia than from Mackenzie. And those are, like, in my brain, I'm comparing them to each other because I feel like they're kind of in the similar place in the game. And I just don't see Mackenzie making it far without this twist. And after the twist, she's gone. So
I'm not really bothered by Mackenzie. Like, Leah rubs me the wrong way. I love her hair. I think she has amazing hair, but
She does have good hair.
yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, she's very pretty. But she but when I hear her talk game, it's like womp womp womp. Like, I don't see her having any real, like, strategic talent. I don't think that she's going to be the mastermind of anything. I think she's very easily going to get played or lulled into a false sense of security. She doesn't really have anything solid in this game. She was up Chelsea's butt last week, and I think she can find a little bit of security there. But like Javier said, because of this power is the reason I believe that she's still in, and she weaponized that power on accident. I don't even think that was on purpose. I think that did happen, that people found out about the power, and then therefore they're scared to nominate her because of the unknown of America's vote. But that is the only reason that she's still in the game. And like I said, I don't think she did that on purpose. That was the result that it protected her for a couple of weeks, and in turn kind of Leah, because they think she'll save her. But I don't think that was on purpose. That's just what happened to come to be. So I don't find her to be a talented player. I'd be very shocked if she got past like 7th place. So for me, she's also a D. Without the power, I don't know what Mackenzie's about to offer.
Mackenzie is like the crash market of 2008. Like,
what? Wait, I need to finish this. Finish that, please, Josie. I need to hear what that means.
I just feel as though people invested in her. She invested in Matt, and it just went all to crap after week 1. Like, it just feels like, ooh, potential. Like, she wins the power, she's up. She's in a potential showmance with Matt. She then, instead of like waking up, chooses to not use the power on Matt, which is valid, fair. This is an individual game. I don't blame you, mama. But then votes to keep him when he's clearly going home, and then chooses to tell people about the power, and it goes, she wouldn't use that power on Matt. Like, will she benefit me? Would she help me out? Which causes doubt. Like, I just feel like she crashed and she burned, and now she's in economic distress. Like, she's not going to get this money, child. Like, that's what I feel. Like, I don't know. She's pretty. That's the issue. Leah and Mackenzie remind me of the TikTok viral sound, gorgeous, beautiful gown, gorgeous gowns. Like, it's just, okay, that's it. Like, gorgeous girls. But like, what else? Like, Janelle, you said it perfectly. I don't think she weaponized her gift on purpose. I just think that, if she would have been like, you never know with America, right? Like, you never know who they're rooting for. It's always such a mixed bag, like blah, blah, blah. Okay, then I feel like she's weaponizing it. Not really. She's just like, well, like, if I do use the power, I don't get to choose. So it's not really on me. Like, it doesn't become it's like not on me. I think she's trying to like cover herself from like the blood, but she's going to be the blame anyways, regardless. Like, if she does that move, she's going to be blamed for it because her saving herself put someone else at risk, whether she did it directly or not. Like, people are still going to hold her accountable. I just don't know what she can do. She has no allies except for Matt, and she's sunk. Quite frankly, I could also compare her to the Titanic. It felt very Rose and Jack, and he said, "Don't let me go," and she let him go, and she tried to keep him, and this is why she might as well sink with him. I mean, look, like Katie, I'm open for you to defend her. Like,
Yeah,
you
Kate, I
know,
want to hear this.
No, you guys make a lot of very good points. I'm not pro MJ. I'm not rooting for her. I was impressed slightly by the fact that she knew she should be the first one up in that HOH room talking about her power. And she is, whether or not she's doing it on purpose, I do like what she's doing of saying, I have the power, because they're all trying to find Quinn and trying to figure it out. They thought it was Lisa. They thought it was Lisa. Now they're like trying to hunt it. I mean, they know it's Quinn. I don't really know what they're going to do with that information now. But like, that's where the focus was last week of the second power. MJ was already out of the conversation. We know she has a power. It's fine. Like, we're good. They could have targeted her. They could have flushed it. The only one talking about that is Tucker. And the only reason they're talking about, you know, her power this week is because they want to get Leah out. No one's talking about getting her out. They're talking about getting Leah out. And they're worried that she's going to use the power to save Leah. It's not like they want her out. I don't think she's doing a great job making relationships. And I really don't think like Rubina or T-Core like her very much. I think they are bucketing her with Leah. But I do think if Leah leaves, like, I think Matt leaving was the best thing for Mackenzie's game, because I think he tanked her. Like, even just Angela saying day one, whatever, you're in a showmance, like that immediately brought them together. And there are a lot of clips on that from the feeds where she's like, I don't want, like, you're cool and I'll get to know you, but like, I want to get to know everybody here and not just you, and like, whatever. So I don't even really know how much she was like into him. But I feel like once Angela goes, once Kenny goes, who I think would probably target her, maybe, although the Matt thing, I don't know. And once Leah goes, I think she'll be in a better spot if she could just like sit off to the side. And it's just a matter of like, does she want to play? I think getting Lisa out last week was probably the worst thing for her, because Lisa was an ally of hers and they were close. So I don't think that was a good move on her part. But I think she has more wiggle room than other people in the house. So I think she has more potential. It just depends on what she's going to do with the potential. And it could very well be nothing.
It's just like, what can she do really? Like, you know, like, she's perceived as a duo with Leah. There's this house is a season of duos. That's what it is. Chelsea and Cedric came on to core, Leah and MJ. Like, you know, like, what can you do but get rid of your duo? But then it's like, are people going to be open and receptive to taking you in? Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like there's not enough work. Some people need to get up and go to war. Like, you need to get up, put your foot on the pavement and fight for your life. Because there's so many people who are probably recruited. No one sees the value in, like, I need to go and talk to everyone. I need to make sure that I'm good with everyone. Everybody just wants to stay with their friends here and there and blah, blah, blah. That's great when you're not in the Big Brother house. But mama, this is a game. Like, MJ is giving me nothing. Gorgeous, gorgeous gowns down the House of Boots. Like, the freckles are everything. Gorgeous bones, like hair. Like, she's giving. But these people are on the wrong network. They should have been on Netflix. Like, this is not it. Like, I just hate wasted potential. Gorgeous women could do very well in this game if they put the foot to the pavement. But alas, a lot of them are here to just, I don't know, be on TV. Alas.
I think she has some Holly Allen 24 Wyoming potential. And like, I don't like Holly Allen 24 Wyoming, but she came in second place. I mean, there's no Jackson Mickey here to kind of carry her.
Not her Jackson though.
I know, but I do think Holly could have probably stood on her own a little bit. But like, I don't know. I think if Mackenzie wakes up a little bit, she could turn it on. Like, I just don't think Leah has her head in the game at all. The fact that MJ even went up and started talking about her power and spoke to the HOH, that's like more game sense than we've seen from Leah this whole time. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'll give her like a little bit better of like a mark than Leah. I don't know if I would put her in C. I would maybe, but like, I do think she could go somewhere, win a comp. Brooklyn likes her. I think she could get, like, Chelsea seems okay with her. She really doesn't like Leah. I think it's really just like Rubina and T-Core that don't like her. And I don't think she has much of a relationship with Chemo, but like the rest of them, I could see her building something with.
I think there's merit behind the C because of the power and because of how it's keeping her safe. But I'm not too gung-ho either way.
You see, this ranking is not working for me. Go ahead.
I feel like if we want to put her above Leah, fine, but she needs to stay in D.
Like, there's no way. Nah, you see, this is why we need to rearrange things already. How can MJ and be above Leah and above Cam? Despite me being mad at Cam, Cam lies. Like, let's be for real. Like, Cam is a man, unfortunately. So he gets to be in the Andersons. Then he gets to be in the Collective, which flopped. He's in the barbershop and he's in the Pentagon. And he's in a core with two people who've just been HOH back to back. There's no way I can sit here on Beyonce's internet and say, you know what, let's put MJ above Leah and above Cam.
What do we think about this?
No.
Oh no, like Cam needs to be D tier, but he needs to be above in the rest of them.
Yes, agreed, Josie. That's what I was trying to say about Leah earlier.
I don't know.
The issue becomes like, is Joseph really behind Leah? Because he's not a target. Like you, I think these women need to be, these gorgeous gowns need to be bottom of D tier. That's what I think.
Okay,
Cam
so where do we want Cam? Top of D still? I think, Josie, I feel like you made the argument for him to be in C.
Yes, I do too, Josie. Put him
He
back
has
up.
allies.
If y'all want to be generous, go ahead. But there's
I think for now, I mean, it's not permanent. We'll see where he is next week. But this week, no one's coming for him. His bestie is HOH. He's sitting pretty this week, Cam. So I think he could be in C.
I think, okay, I need to ask how we ranking these people, right? Because if we're going people who are not going to go home, like Joseph is above MJ and Leah. Yes, MJ has a power, but it's worth nothing. If she survives this week and next week she doesn't use it, like she's on the equilibrium as Joseph, if we're being for real.
So do we want to have Joseph at the top of D, then Mackenzie, then Leah?
That's fair.
This is what I was thinking.
I'm good with this for this week.
Javier, what's up? You don't look
I'm fine with it. I still think Leah is gonna make it further than Mackenzie and maybe Joseph, but we'll see.
For this week, not really, but in the future, perhaps, and then we can change the rankings. I don't know.
Okay.
All right, let's get to this man, Quinn.
Oh God.
Josie, I want you to start. I feel like you've mentioned Quinn a couple of times, so I'm curious what your opinion is on Quinn.
Lord, where do I begin? That Quinn, he has a lot of potential, but he's messy.
Yeah.
He's a messy player. Like, why? The issue with Quinn is that he has his hands everywhere. I fear Quinn will have the jury bitter against him. Like, that's what it's looking up to be. And I don't think he realizes that as much as a fan he is. That is my issue with strategic people. They often forget the human aspect of it. They're thinking me, self, like I'm going to be in these alliances. And they're not realizing how that can have an effect on other people. Like, I feel like he made the fatal mistake of sharing his power. I just feel like that's so messy. It's like when people tell people about their idols on Survivor. Like, that's what the equivalent of that is to me.
Mm-hmm.
You get the craziest power we've seen in a long time. Deep fake HOH.
Ever, probably, right?
I mean, like, I don't know. The coup d'etat was some batshit. But what's crazy about the deep fake is technically you do the same thing, but no one
You have the whole week.
Oh, yeah.
You do the replacements. You can spread disinformation. You just take over an HOH week in secret.
And like, that's so good. And the fact that he went and said it to Angela, who could hold it over his get, he needs to thank someone, a higher power, that Angela has no one trusts or believes anything that comes out of her mouth. But it doesn't matter anyways, because then he went and told Chemo, and Chemo validated with Tucker, and it's like everyone knows, like he just spoiled what could have been an amazing impact and a game-making move. You get to cause the most chaos in a week of Big Brother and wipe your hands clean, and you choose to tell everyone about it. That's insane to me. To me, that's just like terrible gameplay. It doesn't matter how many alliances you are in. You squander an opportunity like that. Like, the best players would not do that. You heard what the power was. It's not like it's a surprise. You heard what it was, and you decided to tell people about it, and it's just so bad. Not to mention that now in my head, I'm thinking, oh, he can win competitions because he's won one. Like they don't know how many people said yes. They don't know that he just competed against Leah. Like, no one knows that really for certain, for sure. Like, he could have gone against half the house. That's what I could think. Like, I just feel like he does things and like doesn't think half of the time. Like, him going up to Core about the situation with Angela, like, that was so messy of him, knowing that like Angela knows about his power. Like, you should not upset Angela. Like, he just makes decisions that aren't thought through. And I think that's going to be his ultimate downfall, because when people cast their vote, they're going to think, oh, who am I going to vote for? Someone who was in every alliance who betrayed me? As much as that's good gameplay, we have to remember the jury has every right to be better. That's the game. So, like, I don't know. Like, it's just messy without thought. Like,
What do you guys think about his DR from the episode? Because he basically said, like, yeah, I was being messy. It's not like he was doing it out of the goodness. Like, yeah, okay, he's working with T-Core, but like,
that was
he
weird.
admitted he was being messy.
That was weird when he said, like, oh, I'll admit I was being messy. Like, what do you mean? Like, are you weaponizing racism? Like, that was weird when he said that. Like,
Yeah.
Quinn is strange, messy and strange. Like, I would like to give 10s where 10s are due, but every day he wakes up and chooses chaos, and it ultimately doesn't do anything favors for him. Like, I don't know. Like, and he gives information out, like, to people who don't need it. Like, information is power. Like, you're a super fan. Like, I'm sorry, I have to hold you to another level than the half of the house because they're recruits. Like, you should know better. You should be dancing circles around these people. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, he's reckless. He's reckless.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
you go ahead.
Go ahead, Javier.
No, because so I guess maybe I'm the odd man out here, but I actually think Quinn is kind of cooking. I think Quinn is reckless, but I think it's like a messy, like, mastermind vibe that I'm getting for Quinn. Again, the way I'm looking at these rankings, y'all, is who do I see making it furthest in this game? And at this point, I think Quinn is in a very good position that can easily, like, he's like standing on like thin ice. Like, Quinn is in such a good position, but he can easily, because he's so messy, ruin his position in the game. So to me, I genuinely think Quinn is the best player in the house right now, and I would put Quinn like maybe either above Chelsea or A, because I generally think Quinn has a lot of influence in this house. He has a lot of good relationships in this house. He's in a lot of alliances, and so far it hasn't come back to bite him in the butt. So like we said, we're looking at it this week. We're not looking at it in the future. Will it bite him in the butt? This week, I think Quinn is in the best position in the house. So that's why I think Quinn should be in at least high B or A.
I like Quinn. I find him very interesting. Also, like you guys said, very, very messy. I feel like he got a lot of like saucers floating on sticks. And all it takes is for one of those things to come crashing down for his game to be burned. I also agree that it blows my mind with such an amazing power that he would breathe a word of it. You could do whatever the hell you want, and nobody like he could put up every threat in the house that he finds. You know what I mean? It's like with no blood on your hands. So it's very frustrating that he chose to share that power. I think that's just a bad call, and there was no reason to say anything to anybody at all, ever at all. Like till you're out of the game and you've won or you're voted out. So I think like I question his judgment because he decided to share that and he hasn't gained anything from it. But the trauma of Angela like dangling in front of everybody. I think he's very, very messy, but also at the same time, a lot of people want to pull Quinn. When you hear people talking about the alliances that they want to form, Quinn is often a person that gets brought up for somebody that they want to include. So he's messy. I'm not sure how long he's going to keep things afloat. I think that if he does use the power and if he does something wild, it's going to come back on him because people know that he has it. So I think he's in a great spot right now. So I'd be fine with like a B-ish, I guess. But I'm interested to see how long he's going to keep this up. That's what I want to see because I don't think it's going to be long.
Here's my problem is that I hate players like Quinn. If I were in this game, I would be targeting players like Quinn. They think that they're the only person that has ever watched Big Brother in their lives and watches a live feed. So they think they know exactly how to play and what to play and who to play and everything. And he lets the ego of being a super fan, especially among recruits, get into his way. And he's making stupid ass decisions. Like in week 1, you don't even know this woman. You don't even know this woman. And you're tying your wagon to the oldest person. I don't know. She might not be the oldest person, but the oldest woman in the house who probably is not going to win a lot of competitions. She's the first HOH, big deal. You didn't even give it a chance to see what she could do with that HOH before you start spilling all of your information to her because it's just like, oh, I have this thing I have to share and I need a final 2 because I'm like a fan. No, don't do that. Shut up and just stop talking and keep it to yourself. That's number 1. Number 2, I just feel like he has, I don't know, such like a hubris, like there's just something about his attitude that I really don't. He's like the worst parts of Corey Wurtenberger that I don't like, and like the worst parts of Turner that I don't like, all put into one player. Where like Josi, I totally agree with you that like he's gonna make people bitter, just like Turner made people bitter because he's just gonna flip on a dime and just like the way Turner cut people off was so wild. And I see Quinn doing the exact same thing. I feel like he has the same ego that I don't like. Sorry to the Corey stands out there. I'm sure he's very nice. Like shout out to him in America. Great for them. They're still together, but like not my favorite player. Exactly would have targeted him last season the same way I would target Quinn if I were in the house with them. And I just like, I don't need you to like super fan-splain me how to play Big Brother. And I just feel like he's doing that. And the only reason he's in a good spot is because no one else in this house knows how to play this game. So they just think Quinn has all the right information, but Quinn is actually a dumbass. So like, that's why I just feel like, yeah, he's in a good spot, but it's not going to last because he's a mess. I totally agree with you, Josi. He's a mess. He wants to cause chaos. He's lighting fires and like lighting fuses, and it's all going to blow up in his face. This week, he's in a good spot. But he can't even use his power now because everyone's going to know that it's him. So like if his ally wins next week and he wants to take over HOH, or even if he wanted to take over Cedric's HOH, he can't do it because he's in an alliance with every person in the house. So if he takes over their HOH, now Chemo knows he has the power. Tucker knows he has the power. He can't even use it. He can't even use it because he opened his big, stupid ass mouth.
But what if Leia or Mackenzie win next week? He uses that power. Everyone in the house loves him.
But
It depends what he does with it.
An alliance with, he has a final.
He's in an alliance. Yeah, he's in an alliance with them.
But
He's
no,
in an
but
alliance with Leia.
he can say that's BS and the house would buy it.
No, but that's the issue is that like, yeah.
But then what does he do with it? Who is he putting up?
Like
if he takes over that HOH, one of his allies, because he's in an alliance with everybody.
He is not in a good position because oh my God, everyone. I personally, if I'm in that house, I'm remembering everything someone does to someone else, right? Let's say Leah does win HOH, hypothetically speaking. He takes the deep fake. She's like, why would you do that to me? We were friends, we were allies. Okay, you were friends, you were allies. Noted. Mind you, he's aligned with the entire house. Then the next week, let's say what happens is the Pentagon chooses to go after, I don't know, Decor and Chemo. Well, you know, if he wins a veto or something, like he is going to be put into bad situation after bad situation after bad situation. And I don't know if he has the chutzpah, for lack of a better word, to navigate being in the middle like this, because he's literally promised everyone his firstborn child. Not everybody can have, you know, can be named after, you know, like it can't happen. He can't name his child after 12 other house guests. That's not how it works. You can't, like, it's too much. Like, it's okay to not be aligned with everyone. You can be in a good spot with people, but you don't have to be in an alliance with them. The soul and only person he is not in an alliance with is MJ. MJ.
And Angel.
That's insane. That's
Yep.
insane. Like, that's a problem, brother. An alliance? Come on.
And what is he supposed to do? Josie, to your point, if Chemo is up on the block, and Cedric puts him up, what's he supposed to do? He's burning someone one way or another. He wins the veto. He can't do anything. He's going to burn Chemo or he's going to burn Cedric, his two closest allies in the house, because everybody's his closest ally in the house. And the only person who's not is Angela. And she was spilling about his power last week, and he did almost nothing to try and get her out. He should have been campaigning all week last week to get Angela out. And he was just like, I don't really want to do this, but I guess I'm going to vote out Lisa. And I'm like, you don't have to do it. Try and flip a couple of votes. You should be able to do that. If you are so influential and you're in alliances with every single person in the house, why can't you swing one vote? Why can't you swing two votes? Why can't you get these people to vote this person out? Because he has no agency. He has no agency.
And we talked about this on Monday. I said whoever goes home will be indicative of who is actually in control. Is it Takor or is it Quinn between the alliance? Because Takor wanted Lisa out. You know, Tucker obviously wants Lisa out, but not everything revolves around Tucker. If you want this woman to go with rightful reason, she should be able to go. Not to mention, she just yelled at two other people that same week. Like, there's no reason why Angela could have stayed. Like, she could have gone, quite frankly. Horrendous HOH week, arguing with half the house at this point. Like, no one's safe. Like, he could have leveraged that, but he has no agency because he just is reckless. And the thing is that I don't see Quinn now. Hello, I don't know the man, but this is just my opinion. I don't see Quinn putting his ego aside not to win an HOH this season. If you're gonna play and have an alliance with half the whole house, you can't win HOH. You simply cannot.
What's he gonna do?
Oh, and not to mention, let's say someone wins HOH next week. Mind you, Chemo and Tucker know about the power, and they're like, we want you to use it. Use the power. Save us, protect us, whatever. Like, it's too like, it's just too messy. Like, that's the issue with super fans. Like, you have the ones who get it, who understand the assignment, and then you have those who just go completely in the opposite way. Like, Celebrity Big Brother, or I believe her name was Shannon, like Frenchie vibes. Like, you just do too much. It's okay to, like, relax a little bit. It's okay. Like, you don't have to act on everything. Like, nah, like, he has a bitter jury written all over his forehead, especially with the fact that this house is not full of strategic people. Like, these people don't know the game. Like, they're going to be like, you hurt my feelings, and so I'm not voting for you. Like, that's how you have to play Big Brother now. Like, let's wake it up. Like, this brother, you know, love that he's in every alliance. I just don't know if he's able to play from the top. Like, exactly what I said about Corey last season. I'm like, once you get to the top, I don't know if these types of players are the types that can stay up there, because the fall from grace is so much easier. You have to punch down constantly versus climbing to the top. I don't think Quinn is fit to be at the top, quite frankly.
I'm with you. He's simultaneously doing too much and also doing nothing. Like, he's doing a lot, but he's also doing nothing. So it's just like, what? You're in a good spot right now this week, Quinn, and I'll give it to you, because Angela's in the house and Kenny's in the house. Next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, when those easy targets are out, he's going to be right in the middle with the rest of them fighting for his life. And he's going to rub people the wrong way. He's going to make a crazy move that people don't like. He's not, we'll see what happens with Quinn, but I'm okay rating him on the higher end this week, only because Cedric is HOH, even though Quinn was targeting Cedric and now he decided he's not targeting Cedric. I don't really know where his head is at, but it seems like he's not going on the block this week.
Strange man.
Strange.
Javier, where would you have him?
The highest position.
I think I heard an A.
High B or A.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's not happening.
I'm gonna say two things. First of all, he doesn't have to use his power. Even if everyone knows, he just doesn't use it. And if he doesn't use it, he makes no blood. A. B, y'all keep talking about what? Bitter jury. So what do you guys think? He's gonna make it to the end. So that is another reason he should be towards the top.
I just feel like all it takes is the wrong person to win HOH and the right nominees, and it's over for him. Like he's gonna oh my god, like all it takes is a messy week. That's the
Give
issue.
me Angela's HOH. Angela, win that veto, win HOH next week, and get this man's ass out the door.
If Angela wins another HOH,
It's over.
Quinn's gonna have a rough week. He might have to use that HOH because he might be scared. But he put up. Because I feel like if you win HOH, you should still be safe, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
safe.
Yeah, she would be safe.
Then he can't put her up. So now what?
So where we rating him? Where we rating him?
Personally, I would put him below Brooklyn because I feel like Brooklyn has done such a good job staying even. She's not on anybody's radar. She's not pissing anybody off. She's not starting fights. She's not getting yelled at. She's just very chill. Quinn has been in the middle of a fight. He's spreading information around. People know he has a power. Angela's on his ass. Like, Brooklyn to me is in a much better spot. Is he in a C or is he in a B?
I could put him behind Brooklyn. I agree with you.
I can get behind B, low B.
I'm a woman of the people. I'll compromise.
Okay. I'm not happy about it, but I'll do it.
I could have put him in C.
I could have put him in C too, but to me, I feel like Chemo's in a better spot than Quinn this week. That's why, like,
that's what I'm saying,
right? Like
Chemo's a good brother, you know. Like no one's gonna get mad at him. And Chemo ain't make no promises. Like Quinn reminds me of Wes.
But I like Wes.
Too many promises. I'm not saying Quinn's a bad person. It's just, I promise you my first child. I promise you this. I promise you. He's a bad politician. Like I'll compromise. I'll put him in B, but like he needs to like get it together for me personally. Like, I don't know. And he needs to be on the streets and like talking to people and making sure they actually like him. Like constantly. Like that's hard work. Like making sure everyone likes you constantly. Ooh, like it's the game, I guess. But
we'll see where he's at next week. Let's move on to Rubina. We have a couple more to get through, and we've been at this for a little while, you guys. We've been here for 2.5 hours. So me too. I just looked up and I was like, oh, we've been talking for a long time. What do we think about Rubina? I worry for her. I think she's super nice. Did you say no thoughts?
I was gonna ask her, like, what has Rubina? She's not on the show. Like, I don't see her.
Yeah, she's invisible.
Just cute outfits.
She's a
cute.
Beautiful girl. Very
gorgeous gown.
Gorgeous gowns. Like when I saw Rubina, I was like, oh, she's so pretty. She's gonna do so well. I have high hopes for her. And she's been there, just sitting on a couch somewhere. Like, what's going on?
Aww.
Yeah.
I like her. I like her personality. I think socially she's excellent. Lots of people want to work with her. But she's like, I mean, I see her on the feeds. I see her having conversation. I don't think she's just there, but I guess game-wise, she's just there. You're right. She's just fitting in. She's in with some people, was a potential pawn for the week, but she was sick. Like her allies went to bat for her. I believe T-Court and Brooklyn tried to prevent her from going up. So she has
Tucker volunteered to go on the block so she wouldn't get put up.
Yes. Yeah. So she has allies. It's just her allies are the ones that need to be in the driver's seat. Otherwise, she's just going to be in trouble. Like that's just period point blank. So I think she's a middle of the road player. I don't think she's a bad player. I think that she has more to offer that we haven't had a chance to necessarily see because other people have been in power and she's just kind of getting along right now. Yeah, that's how I feel. She's a middle of the roader for me.
I like her. She seems very nice. She's another person where I feel like I would want to hang out with her in real life, but like on the show playing the game, like just doesn't feel like she's giving me anything. Like I appreciate listening to her conversations and like on a personal level of just like, you know, how she feels like overtaken by people like Leah coming in the room. Like that's totally relatable. I get that. And like not, you know, people talking over her. So she takes a back seat. but she's not playing the game. Like, I don't think I've heard any game talk from her. Some, maybe light game talk, but like, it says more about Tucker and Brooklyn and her allies or people that like her than it says about her that they're offering to go on the block or trying to fight for her. Like, she's not doing enough to keep herself off the block. We saw her in the kitchen right before noms and she's like, I'm nervous, but like, then go talk to Cedric, go do something. You're not doing anything. You're just saying you're nervous in the kitchen. So to me, she's behind Leah in D, even though I like her a lot more than Leah. I just have not seen her do a thing. And she was this close to going on the block this week. And like, potentially she could have gone home.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's all valid. Yeah.
I put her above Mackenzie.
I think with Rubina and this week in general, I think a big question I've been asking myself is, how under the radar should you play? Like, how what is the line? What is the perfect mix? Because it's like half this cast ain't even here. And it's like, can I blame them because it's week 3? Like, I don't know if I can hold them accountable to the fact that like they haven't done anything because it's the beginning of week 3. And so Rubina, I think a lot of these house guests have gotten comfortable with the fact that there are people who are major targets. But as it dwindles down, if someone needs to replace someone else, Lisa's gone. That's why Rubina is available. It's because these targets are going home, right? So now that we have Tucker on the block, right? Let's say Kenny goes home this week or Angela goes home. That means there needs to be 2 people to fill up that spot beside Kenny if that's the automatic nom for everyone in the house, which might not be true now that Kenny's making alliances. You know, like, people aren't being proactive enough, and Rubina is one of those people. Like, it's great that she's close to Takor and Chemo, who have influence, who are players in this game. It's good that people are backing her like Brooklyn, but the issue then becomes, it's like, not everyone can be at your defense. And also, it's putting a target on your allies' friends. Because if I'm HOH and I say I might put up Rubina and Brooklyn's coming up to me, oh, maybe you shouldn't put her up. I'm thinking, oh, you a duo? Like, why do you got Rubina so much? I would want you to be closer to me. So maybe I should put her up. If you have 3 people defending her, those are numbers, yes. But it is worrisome. And she's not doing a lot for her to stand on her own. Like, you still need your allies at the end of the day. And if you are sharing that piece of the target that you have on them, you're not benefiting them and you're not benefiting yourself. So it's just really rough for me. Like, it's great that Tucker's willing to sacrifice himself, but in my mind, I'm thinking, is this another showmance? Like, we just had Matt leave because of that same rhetoric. We can use that. We can copy paste that rhetoric. What happens if everyone goes, Tucker can go because he's clearly Rubina's knight in shining armor? Like, it's like, you're not safe and you're not doing your allies any favors by being so passive. But it's like, can I blame her for being passive because it is so early? That's what I'm having difficulty with. That's the internal dialogue that I'm having with myself. Ultimately, she has great friends, cute. That's it. Like, I don't really, when I look at like what alliances she's in, the barbershop is like all mid players except for like Chelsea and Brooklyn.
Is it even real anymore now that Matt's gone?
It's not even real. I don't know. Like, they in limbo, you know? And then like, if you think about the girls' alliance, is that really even a thing? I don't know. Aside from that, she's not in anything. She just is friends with people in high places, but that's not good enough. This is an individual game. Like, even if they do carry you, what can you say? What can you do to back yourself? Like, nothing really. So I feel like, I don't know if I can. I think I might have to put her D tier, but I might maybe above Joseph because she has people backing her. Like, that's what I'm thinking.
My feeling is like, I hear what you're saying, Josie, about playing passive. The right level of passive to me is Brooklyn. She's in the conversation, but she's not driving the conversation. She's playing vetoes. She wants to win, whether she actually wants to win or not, like TBD, but you know, she wants to play. She wants to be a part of it. Rubina is literally just there. She's not playing. She's there and she's cool and chill. And like, like I said, she seems like a really cool person. And she has people who want to ride for her because of that. But she's not actually playing the game the same way that like a Brooklyn is, who's like more in the middle, but also like fading into the background. But she still has influence. Like Rubina, I don't see her having any influence over anybody. Leah at least has Mackenzie as a number one. Mackenzie would use a power on her. Joseph, I think, has some influence because he gives game opinions. I haven't heard Rubina really give any opinions on the game. More about like the people, but not in a game sense.
But Tucker literally died on the sword for her.
We'll talk about Tucker.
Like Tucker's a little bit of an idiot, but alas, like at least the work is done. Like I don't know, like I think
that could put her in a worse position than help her.
It can, but I think the fact that you have 3 advocates, who's advocating for Leah? Mackenzie? And then who's advocating for maybe even Cam? Quinn on the side, but not really. She's just a big target. Who's backing MJ? Leah? Like that's it. And then like Joseph, yes, he has game sense, but I don't know if I would see Chelsea like going to bat for him. Maybe. But I think she's definitely above MJ and Leah in the sense that like, yeah, she was almost on the block, but not as a target, as a pawn. Like if Leah or MJ touch that block, it's target potential, period. Like Rubina is just a pawn. Just like Joseph could be a pawn. Just like Cam could be a pawn. Like,
So what do we think? Top of D for her? Above Joseph?
Yeah.
That's what I think, but Janelle?
Okay.
What do
It's
you
either
think?
above or below Joseph.
As long as I would have put her between Joseph and Mackenzie.
Yeah, I feel like between Joseph and Mackenzie is a little. At least Joseph is trying, sort of.
Yeah,
I'd be down. That was my first gut. Joseph, in between Joseph and Mackenzie.
All right, if it's y'all's first gut, it's okay. It's okay. She's in D tier, and she's above MJ and Leah, which is what matters most. Gorgeous gowns together. Yes.
All 3 of them. Gorgeous.
Gorge. All right, let's move on to T-Core. I'm curious what you guys think about T-Core and her game. Anybody can start. I don't know what my opinion is yet, so I'm saving it. I need to be influenced.
Well, I'll start us off then. I think T-Core is one of the people in the house who has the most information. She is, to me, the only positive under the radar player within this group. I think she's actually playing the game, and I think people actually listen to her. And I think she's in with the right people. She, Chelsea, Cam, Cedric had an agreement, let's watch out for each other, which is important. I do think that these people would watch out for T-Core, unless anything happens. But for the time being, I think that's correct. I think Rubina would protect her. I think Chemo is protecting her. I think she gets along with a lot of people, Tucker being one of them as well. I just think she's really well insulated in the house without being too above water like Chelsea. That's why I want them to work together. And ultimately, if someone comes after either or, I think Chelsea is the first one that they would go after because she has an HOH. But to me, competitions don't matter that much if you have influence on what happens on the house. Like HOH is a title, it's a nice bedroom, and some cute, letters here and there, some accessories, some moments, some teddy bears. But like if you decide at the end of the day who goes home every week, then to me, that's more powerful than an HOH. And that's something that you can bring home without being too upfront with like how much power you have. Is she in as many alliances as Quinn? No, but I do think that because she hasn't solidified anything or made an alliance name, people are less likely to be bitter towards her. And I think like she hasn't done anything super shady as of yet. So I think she's in a very good position in the house. She's in with the right people. She has the influence. I mean, what more can you ask from a player in week 3 who hasn't won anything?
Yeah, I agree. I'm loving her. I like her like laid back approach to things, and it's working for her. I think that if her crew, like her cohorts, has power a majority of the time, she's gonna go far. I worry about if the Kennys, Leahs, or Mackenzies win. Like,
Yeah.
that's where there's going to be trouble for T-Core. I think most other people wouldn't necessarily look in her direction, and I hope wouldn't pawn T-Core either. I think that if she knew that was coming, she'd be excellent at fighting for herself and for her game. So for me, she's a B player in a good position that has great game abilities, and I'd love to see her, like, one of those weeks where we want things solidified. I'd love to see like T-Core be the one to do it. Like, I think she'd handle it well, whatever it came to be.
I personally, I really, from like jump, when the cast was announced, I literally tweeted like, I hope T-Core does well. Like, I hope, because she was saying like she was going to be an oddball in the house, etc. And I do think she has her biggest allegiances are the like oddballs, which would be like Quinn, Chemo, and her. Like, I think that is a good trio. And I think that for T-Core, being aligned with Quinn actually is really good for her, because Quinn is in all these powerful alliances. And I do think Quinn would go to bat for T-Core. For example, the Pentagon got and wanted to go after T-Core. Quinn would be like, hold on, guys, let's go after XYZ first. Unfortunately, I see T-Core in a very beautiful, like 6th, 7th place, just because she is not in the powerful alliances. Because unfortunately, I mean, it's very early on in the game, so we can see if T-Core can get into a really strong alliance. But at the time, I've said it many times, but again, the Pentagon is the solid alliance. So I always see those 5 being like the top 5. And then like T-Core, I can see her as a solid 6th or 7th, unless she can somehow break into that alliance. And to me, that's the strongest alliance. So unless T-Core joins a stronger alliance than the Pentagon, I just don't see T-Core making it to the end, even though I hope she does, because I do love T-Core as a player. And I agree, she has a lot of good information, but she is just not yet, she just hasn't done that like little leap to be like in the power alliance at the moment. So that's why I would also put her in B. But I don't know exactly where I would put her in B yet. I'm not going to lie.
But to the point you just made, the issue that I'm having with Pentagon as of right now is that, first of all, Quinn is a part of it, but his main allegiance is to Core and Chemo. Like, that's the part. Like, that's why to me, it's like, I can't even 100% be like, the Pentagon is the most powerful alliance, because powerful alliance have all 5 members on board 100%. And then doubt creeps in as further we go. Immediately, 2 out of the 5 people are like, oh, those are the 3 and we are the 2. Like, if that's already your mindset, like, I can Quinn's plotting low-key against them. Not high-key, but like, he's in a Pentagon alliance with Cedric, but wanted to target him. Like, like, to me, that alliance isn't the powerful alliance. There is no powerful alliance, if we're being quite honest. There are powerful trios and duos. And I think that T-Core is in a powerful duo and trio, including Quinn in that piece. And Quinn is in every alliance and tells her everything, that she doesn't need to be as messy. She gets to navigate the game with the knowledge that Quinn provides her, which is everything, which helps her navigate the game in a better way than I think Quinn himself, who's immediately and in direct contact with these people, can have. So it's just also, not to mention, if the Pentagon is the powerful alliance, she is in an agreement with Cam, Cedric, and Chelsea. And I believe that these people will protect T-Core above a lot of other people in this house. So it's like, that's why for me, it's like so complicated, because the game hasn't really started. And I think that's the conclusion I've come to tonight. The game hasn't started because there's these weird people just giving themselves on the line, and Angela, who just like pretty much threw herself in the water without a swim. So that's the point I wanted to make your comment.
Yeah, I really don't. I mean, I don't know where I would rank T-Core. I think her game is so dependent on some of these other players and not dependent on herself, that it's making me really not even know how to form an opinion on her yet, because I feel like, Josi, you're right. Like, so much of the information is coming from Quinn, and you guys know my opinion on Quinn. And I think if he goes in a week or 2, where does that put T-Core and Chemo? Probably not in a great spot. I think the fact that she's close to Chelsea is better for her than it is for Chemo. But outside of that, like, I just don't know who she's aligned with or could be aligned with that have enough power to do a lot. Like Rubina, like we just talked about, she's very passive. She's not doing much. Like Tucker is a wild card. I don't think he's going to be in this house for very long. He's really, and we'll talk about him, but like, I would like to see T-Core be at the center of something where she's like leading, but it needs to happen really quickly because I feel like things are forming already and I just don't know who the right people for her are. Maybe a Brooklyn, but I don't really see them talk that much. They talk, but like not that much. So I don't know. I don't really know. I'm totally undecided on T-Core. I'm like right in the middle. I think she's good. I think she's smart. I think she has good game sense, but I just don't know if she's putting it to use in the way that she needs to. Yeah.
That's why I think she's playing a good game for week 3 because also like I've just seen her talk to everyone in the house and she has good relationships with everyone in the house. So like, yeah, right now she's not in the middle of something, but I can't see someone taking that step and be like, let's make an actual alliance. Maybe not members of the Octagon because they think that's the core, but I do see people liking her so much that they would include her in something. But also, is it really good to be at the center of an alliance because then everyone looks to you and that can put some unnecessary heat? Like that's what I mean. Like an underrated, under the radar game is so interesting to play. But I almost like almost like BB Can 10 Kevin. Like Kevin his game is like no one can replicate that. Like
right.
Let's just say that out of the way. But like him having Takora having her Elena being Chemo, and then slowly but surely getting these big players to align with her, like almost like a Marty with a Quinn, or like, you know, like I just feel like she doesn't necessarily have to be at the center of everything if she's worried about herself and she's self-aware. And so
I just
like,
don't know if she has the game sense to do what she needs to do with it. Like even today, she was talking about how like she doesn't really know the show. She doesn't really know the game. Like Kevin, I think is the perfect person to be able to play that game because he knows strategy and he knows how to play the game and he just has studied the game. I really feel like she needs to be more in a offensive position, even if it's not like out in front, like openly, but like mentally in an offensive position instead of defensive, because I just don't know if she knows what to do with that. So that's why I'm kind of like, I just need to see a little bit more, but I'm fine putting her in B. Like, I think she's in a better spot than Quinn this week.
I would agree.
For sure. For sure.
Okay. Javier, speak your truth.
I mean, y'all know I didn't even want Quinn at that position. So at this point, as long as she can B, as long as T-Core's in B, I'm happy because I really like T-Core and I think she deserves to be in B. So y'all decide.
If you have an argument that can sway me, I'm open.
I just think that T-Core's game depends on Quinn, actually. Like if T-Core loses Quinn, I think T-Core is in a very bad position in this game because, as you guys have said, Quinn has been feeding her the information. So I just don't see how T-Core's in a better position than Quinn. I just think that we're looking at Quinn, his really messy gameplay, as like in the future it could come back to bite him in the butt. But like if it doesn't, then it works because we have seen, who reminds me of Quinn? I'm thinking of like Paul and like BB19. Like Quinn is just like, there's something about Quinn that I feel like he's gonna make it far in this game, and he just is gonna have that influence, even though he's playing a messy game that should be picked up on.
Okay, I'll give you that. I will give you your 10s. I'll give you a cute 9.5. I'll agree. I'm a woman of democracy. I'm a woman of the people. I'll put her behind Quinn.
Okay, I can go with that.
I won't be surprised if she outlasts him.
Me either.
Here's the thing, though. To me, then he should be here because they're so even. They're so even to me that all three of them are depending on each other. I'll leave him, but I think Chemo has the most potential to make it the furthest out of the three of them. I really do. Like, I think we'll see, and I'm okay to leave it there, but
But does chemo have winner potential? That's my question. If we're talking about
I think so.
I don't think chemo has winner potential.
To be honest with you, don't think anybody on this cast has winner potential. So that's why I have a hard time seeing anybody in these final two chairs.
Here's the
But that's
thing.
just me.
If we want to put the three together, they have to be in C.
I would agree with
They
that.
have to be in C because ain't no way I'm moving chemo to B. And quite frankly, I want to Quinn in C. So, I mean,
I think we should leave it like this and move on to Tucker personally.
I mean, I can back away from the war.
I'm fine now, but I agree with you, Josie. I'll leave it. But in my heart, chemo is either at least a B or the other two are in C. They're so even to me, and I think Quinn is in the worst position out of the three of them because his power is exposed by his own doing. So to have Quinn above T-Core and chemo to me feels crazy. But we'll leave it. How
about we make a compromise? I'm okay with leaving Quinn, Core, and chemo in that order while we put them to C.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. I think that's fair. Because Quinn, I agree with you, Katie. Quinn, I don't know.
I would rather move chemo to C than move Quinn and T-Core to C. I mean, chemo to B.
I think I would probably prefer that too, because I do feel like T-Core shouldn't be in C, but I don't feel like Quinn should be in B. So if we want to leave them there, then I think chemo should move up to B.
I think this is perfect. We shouldn't change anything personally.
Right, we can leave it. Okay. We'll see what happens next week. Let's move on to our last hot mess.
Tucker.
I have a problem with Tucker, and my problem is he gives the people what they want on the feeds. We see him working out. We see him stretching with his ass up in the air. We see all of the things. We see the hating. We see the old school Big Brother. We see everything that we're like, oh, this guy, he's so fun to watch on the feeds and he's cute and whatever. He's leaning into it. But realistically, he's a misogynist. He hates the women in the house. He purposely is going for Josie, just like you said on. Well, I'm sorry. I want to like him too. I find him very handsome, and I thought his hating was funny until you know what, Josie, we talked about it on Monday, and it is weird as hell that everybody's so mad at Angela for just hating on Matt, who did, to be honest, threaten her. Maybe not aggressively threaten her, but he did threaten her, and she did the right thing by calling his ass out and putting him up on the block. She can't shake that because she's an older woman and she's a little, whatever. She's emotional. But it's okay for Tucker to literally push Lisa in the pool and to talk about her stupid glitter around everybody in the whole house, obsessed with her, obsessed with hating her to the point where he volunteered himself to go on the block just to beat her in a competition to get her out. It's weird. I'm sorry. It's weird. Now he's shifted his focus to MJ, who, guess what, is also a woman. Yeah, okay, she has a power and he wants to flush the power, but why are you not trying to flush Quinn's power? Why aren't you trying to put Quinn on the block? He can't use his power once he's on the block. It's over. MJ can use her power on the block. Let that one sit. Who cares? It's not as powerful as Quinn's power. You know what it is. You don't believe Angela when she tells you what the power is. Oh, but chemo told you, so now you believe it. I'm sorry, Tucker. Something smells a little weird here. Also, you're aligning with Kenny now and Cedric. Kenny, who's begging to leave the house. And I'm sorry, Tucker. All the flags are up for me and they're all red. You had me swayed. He's like Rob from Love Island. If you watch Rob, everybody liked Rob in the first week because, him and Leah were so cute and he's so sensitive. But guess what? He's trash and Tucker's trash. I'm not falling for it anymore with these reality TV men. I fell for it in week 1 of both shows and I'm out. I'm sorry, Tucker. For that reason, I'm out on you and you belong in D. If you're signing yourself up to go on the block for 2 weeks in a row and these people are not get this motherfucker out of the house because he's way too confident and everybody likes him, they're not going to do it because they're all dumb. But he should have been out last week and now he should be out this week. Sorry. He's got to go.
Hate that. No.
He's got to go.
I don't even know what to say anymore.
Me neither.
You using what I said last week really, that was such good introduction exposition. You ate with that. I can't make the music not bop. You ate that. I think my issue with Tucker. Well, first of all, here's the thing. I never got what y'all saw in Tucker. oh, not everyone can be in love with the same person. I fear Tucker was never
It's
my
true.
cup of tea. Like, ugh. Like, I think my issue with him, well, here's the thing. He's like, to me, a low rate version of Zach Rance. And if you know me, I loved him in season 16. I don't know if
Mhm.
he's problematic. I think he is. So like I can't really say what he's done after the
I'm
show,
not
before
sure.
the show. I'm pretty sure he said the N-word or something. I don't know.
Oh,
But alas, if you remind me of Zach Rance and you're giving me Walmart version, I fear it's like he doesn't give me anything. Like all he does is like complain about specific women and like just always be on them. Like, there's so many other people in the house, right? And then like you're choosing to align with Kenny, that idiot. You know what? Birds of a feather flock together, actually. It
Mhm.
makes so much sense that you want to align with Kenny as you're sacrificing yourself to go on the block every week. That is one. If I have a Big Brother pet peeve, it's people offering themselves on the block. Like I
Yes.
hate that stuff.
Me
You
too.
can go home. Pawns can go home. And for you to sacrifice yourself and say, you know what? I'll be a martyr. I'll go on the block if you guys all love me. Like I don't care. Like to me, it means that you don't care that your game is expendable. So you might as well just walk outside of the house as well. Like it's the same thing. Like birds of a feather flock together. Like you two can kiki in a corner and go home back to back. Like I don't like this man. And all the points you made, Katie, just solidified that. Like you really ate. Like if I was a
Thank
prop,
you.
I'd give you A+ and like extra credit. Like, sure. Like, ugh, yeah.
I'm just not here for a man who only respects women who he like they pass
You're
his cool
attracted to.
meter. Yeah, or is attracted to. Like, oh, you're cool, you have a cool style, so like I'm cool with you. But like, oh, Lisa's a little weird. Like, yeah, Lisa's annoying as hell, but like the level of hate was weird. It's he again, we none of us like Leah, but it's like the way he acts on Leah is it's weird. It's weird. Like you should at least show her the level of respect that the baseline. And I just feel like his baseline for respecting women is non-existent. And he only shows respect or any even attention to have enough of a conversation with you to get to know you if you're cool enough for him. And like, sorry, bro, you're actually not cool. Like your bucket hat is lame. Your personality is lame. You're not that cool.
Hit him again.
Just like Rob's overalls were not cool.
Whack 'em. Whack
The
'em.
Rob comparison was so good, Katie. Like you ate. Like,
It's the truth.
anyways, I can praise Katie's speech all the time. Sorry.
Thank you.
Janelle, you look at a little distraught.
She's making me question everything. I mean,
I'm
'cause
sorry.
I
I'm not sorry, actually. Let me open your eyes.
I enjoy Tucker on feeds. I think he's a trash player. That's like two different things. Trash player, but I found his like I liked him hating on Lisa because I agreed with the stuff that he was saying. To me, it was like petty, silly stuff and not like, oh yeah, you're actually disgusting. So I enjoyed his hating on Lisa. I didn't maybe notice some of the other things that you're talking about because I don't really follow him around on feeds. But and then if you know me, I never say anything about men and their attractiveness, but I oddly find that man attractive, and I don't know why. And it's like perplexing to my own self. I tweeted it, and then of course my husband saw it. I commented. But
Listen, he's
anyway,
cute. I'm
yeah,
with
he's
you.
very attractive, but I think he's a trash player though. Like I was going to put him in D because I thought he had some game sense, but the more and more we go, I'm like, yeah, no. I cannot believe he's offered himself up twice. He seems to be a fan of older seasons. I don't know how many recent seasons that he's seen, but game wise, like I think he's dead in well, I can't say dead in the water because a lot of people like him when it was suggested to T-Core that he goes up. She's like, no, like people didn't want him to go up even. But I don't have a lot of faith for what he's going to do game wise. I don't know. I mean, if he won HOH, I think it'd be like Aaliyah and Mackenzie, which would be fine with me. Put him up. But I don't think that he's going to be some force in this game. I think he's going to go out thinking that he's safe or that he's a pawn and that week they just snipe him. So game wise, he's totally in a D, but I still like watching him.
I feel like so coming into the podcast, Tucker was one person who I wanted to talk about because Tucker has been one of the most perplexing Big Brother characters for me in a while. Why do I say that? When I see what Tucker does on the feeds, I laugh and I enjoy him. And then I watch him in like the BBAI arena acting like such a tool. Like, oh, I love puzzles. Like, oh, I'm the man. And I was like, wait, this is the same guy who's also like really petty and funny. Like, I was so like on the fence about Tucker. And now Katie just threw me way over that fence. And now I'm like, Tucker needs to go. I'm sick of Tucker. So thank you, Katie, for now making me decide how I feel about Tucker, because I really didn't know if I liked him or not, because I found him funny, but then I also found him annoying sometimes where he's a little too bro-y for me. And now you open my eyes to some other things that I should probably be looking at with Tucker. But yeah, Tucker's definitely a D. He's not winning this game. No one who volunteers himself up on the block that many times is ever going to win this game.
Twice in 3 weeks, by the way. Not just twice.
So,
Twice, 2 out of 3 weeks, this man volunteered himself to go on the block.
And if he keeps winning, like if he wins the Veto or BBAI arena, then they have another reason to target him, because he can be seen as a comp threat. And I think he would be a comp threat if they keep him around for a while. But
house meeting.
Hi, Joseph.
House. Ooh.
I saw there's a meeting of the collective planned.
Wait.
The collective thing. Thank goodness Joseph needs to get up there.
See, Joseph is who I feel like Tucker is pretending to be who Joseph actually is. So I feel like if Joseph came out of his shell a little bit and started playing, everybody would be like, oh my God, Joseph is good. Joseph, by the way, also a hater, but like a respectful hater. Tucker, yeah, the Lisa stuff was funny because Lisa was annoying and like everybody was annoyed by Lisa. Like I definitely think I would have had an Angela level blow up if I found out she was putting oil on my pillow and glitter on my food. Like I get that, but it's a little like when you think about it, big picture, would it have been funny if he was doing it to someone like Rubina or even Mackenzie, who like is mostly inoffensive? No, like that wouldn't be funny. It's only funny because Lisa was a weirdo. So like, I don't know. Should we be like bullying weirdos? Probably not. Like it's funny. It's old school Big Brother, but like it's kind of mean. I don't know. Tucker is trash to me.
I wanted to add that I just was looking on Twitter to see updates, and funny enough, the first thing I saw was about Tucker. Takor, Chemo, and Rubina and Tucker want to solidify something.
Whatever.
What a weird alliance.
Whatever.
So is this the power alliance y'all been talking
Please let me show them the light of this man.
Is not
Please.
the T-Core alliance I want, by the way. I don't want it with Rubina and Tucker. That's just a waste of an alliance. Like, how's that going to forward T-Core's game?
It's so interesting to me. Like, I don't know. Like, obviously people like Tucker, but in the grand scheme of things, like, what is he gonna serve you? Like, I think me comparing him to Zach Grants is exactly like the shoe fits so well. But like Zach Grants was in a big alliance and like had a number one ally in Frankie Grande. So like, I don't know if Tucker really has a number one. I know he has like these like final 2 deals, but how sincere are they? Like, I don't know. Like he has a with Joseph. But like, is that really a thing still?
I put him high D. I think he's the highest in D.
I think he probably is the highest D.
Yeah.
But I'm not happy about it. But I'll put him there. I also want to give a shout out to Tan JLRO in the chat, loving Javier and his energy. And Blue bitch better be S tier, and I agree. As the resident Ainsley stan, I am going to put her in S tier, and she's going to live there for the whole season. I'm sorry. She's the only one really playing. She's really the only one playing.
No, Ainsley gave us BB Arena.
She's trying. She's giving us powers. Yeah, but like they're just not.
I really like the twist, by the way. I know that's not what we're talking, but I actually like BBAI Arena. I didn't think I would like that first, but it's actually fun.
My issue with BBAI Arena is that like it actually doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things when it's already pre-established who's going home.
Who's going home?
I think the way it was pitched to us was like, well, we heard y'all said y'all want, game night, like the eviction nights to be iconic and like ready to go. So this is what we decided to do. But really, as we've seen by not only the lack of movement, but Julie's interactions with it, they don't do anything because it's already pre-established.
Yeah.
And we got a great blindside. But like they were the only two who didn't know what was up. Like it was just them two. Like,
yeah,
okay, like the nominees are blindsided. Crazy. I don't know. It just like I don't know. For what it was supposed to do, I don't think it executed.
I want to see it cause somebody to like. I want to see the real intended like target get off the block. Like I
That's
think
fair.
me too.
I don't even know if it's gonna last that long for us to see that really because we're sending home all these house consensuses. But I
Right.
want to see like, oh crap! Like for example, if somebody won and put up Cam, Cedric, and Chelsea, and then they really want Chelsea out, and then her win the arena, that would be fun. Like seeing these house consensuses lose and then go home, it's like, like right now it doesn't spark a lot of interest. But if it's late deep in the game and a really big target is able to take themselves off with the AI arena, that would be more interesting than what's currently happening for me.
Yeah.
But I don't think that anyone will put a target and 2 pawns up. Like everyone's kind of I mean we'll see maybe in the next 2 weeks. Well, who knows, maybe Tucker will volunteer
Kind of like this week, I almost feel like.
Who knows, but like I think what would have caused the reaction they wanted to see would have been putting veto and then having someone get evicted right after the veto ceremony, because that's what caused chaos. Because if someone can be pulled off, then it's like you don't have enough. Like it's pretty much the double eviction format that causes the most entertainment because you don't know what's going to happen in a short amount of time. And I think that's what we enjoy as viewers. And I think that's what the reaction they wanted to incite every other eviction night. But that's not the case because it's already pre-established who goes. Like, I feel like, to be honest, if I was in the house, I'd be like, okay, if so-and-so are who are number 1, 2, 3 in terms of who do we want to go out first most. Had Tucker not won and Lisa would have won, Angelina would have gone home. You know, like, yeah, it just makes sense. That's a strategic thing to do.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we talked about it maybe in our first Monday podcast for week 1 of the twist. And it's like, we were just waiting for them to figure out a way to break it. And it kind of feels broken to me. You're just putting up people who like, it's already established. And then like Tucker, if you're going to continue to volunteer to be a pawn to like win the comp just to get out the target, then like, to me, the twist is broken. So, well, that being said, we're officially at the 3-hour mark. We did it. We made it 3 full hours. To give a quick rundown of where we're at with our tier list this week, heading into the rest of week 3, we have Ainsley, Queen Ainsley, the only S tier. Nobody in A tier. The B tier is Chelsea, Brooklyn, Quinn, and T-Core in that order, controversially. C tier is Chemo, then Cedric, then Cam. D tier is Tucker, Joseph, Rubina, Mackenzie, and Leah. And in the special tier, Dead in the Water, we have Angela and Kenny. And then we say goodbye to Matt and Lisa.
Bye.
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 Any other thoughts before we close it out?
Production, please stop getting us like 90% of the house recruits. I'm tired. I'm done. I'm over it. Like, if you have people who would be nasty in a good way on television who are applying to be on the show, I don't know, do better. That's my thoughts on it. I'm tired of people volunteering. I'm tired of people threatening to walk every other week. Like, if they would have put the house full of like 5 Angelas,
Right.
that house would have been so fun. It would have been giving BB 10. Like, let's be real.
That's what we need. That's what we need.
Like, we need more players who want to be here, who love the show, and who are willing to fight. Like, hello, like, what's going on? That's really how I feel. If Tucker chooses to nominate himself or like self-nominate or whatever for a 3rd week in a row, I will riot. Like, I will have nothing to say about him that would be nice, and he will have no redeemable moves for the rest of the season. Like, he will be off my list. Like, he will be dead in the water. So, like, I hope for him and his sake that he's not volunteering again for the block next week or the rest of the season.
Maybe he'll go. Maybe we'll see something
First
exciting
time
happen this week.
going home.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? MJ, use that power. I'm gonna make sure you use that power so that I can her to be on the block. Then you'll know what it feels like. You won't volunteer again if America puts you up. How about that? Yeah.
Exactly.
My
All right.
Shout
go
out
ahead.
Angela and save Angela. Hashtag save Angela, guys.
Hashtag save Angela.
Save Angela.
I'm with you. I'm so with you. For the good of our show and for entertainment value, save Angela.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if nothing else, Josie, tell the people where they can find you. A woman of the people. Tell the people where they can track you down.
Hello, people. Thank you so much for listening. I will be taking all questions, comments, concerns on Twitter at JosianeXNM, JosianeXNM. You can also find me with that same username on Instagram and pretty much all social media that matters. I'm on here on Fridays and Mondays talking about Big Brother, tweeting about reality TV when I can. I will be trying to live tweet that Love Island reunion. So if y'all are down, let's find each other because I feel like that will be a fun time.
Josie, let's do a recap.
Oh, I would live.
Let's do it.
Just so
let's do it.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. We'll kiki. But that's everything for me.
Javier.
So everyone, you can find me at _the_starboy on Twitter, where I share all my thoughts on all my favorite shows. Hopefully, I can't wait to be back in a few weeks to then think about these rankings and see if Quinn's ranking changes. That's really the only ranking.
And I think
every week we're going to be talking about Quinn. So we'll see what happens with Quinn. Shout out to I think I'm gonna say your name is Tanjiro, like the Demon Slayer character. So thank you for shouting me out. I appreciate it. So I'll be back. My phone background is another Demon Slayer character, Zenetsu. But yeah, find me at _the_starboy. It was so much fun being here.
Thank you so much for being here, Javier. We always love to have you. So the door is always open for you. Janelle, where can everyone find you?
I'm just Janelle Michaud on everything. I've been watching feeds, tweeting about the show, hopping on with you guys Mondays and Fridays. I don't know who's doing the exit, but we'll be talking with Lisa on Monday. So watch out for that early next week.
Yeah, and thank you all for being here. Hopefully I did a good enough job filling in for Isaiah. He would have kicked us out 2 hours ago. So you got a much longer podcast than you would have with him at the helm. But you can find me on Twitter at RealSlimKatie. I'm private right now, but if you are one of our people, I'll obviously accept you. But just be forewarned, my timeline is a mess. There's a lot going on in the world and on TV, so I just have a lot to say lately. But follow me there, and you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSlimKatie with an _ at the end. And you can find me here on Mondays and Fridays talking all things Big Brother. The traders will be back eventually soon. So maybe Javier and I will be back talking about that. We have Challenge 40. We have a lot going on that's coming. So maybe you'll see me in more places. We shall see. But other than that, you can find us. Let me pull up our info. If you want to stay up to date with Silent Podcasts, follow us, like, subscribe, leave us 5 stars if you liked what you heard. If you didn't like what you hear, don't, because you can only rate us one time and save it for a 5-star. Thank you all, and we will be back on Monday after the veto ceremony to give you guys our updates on what we're thinking midweek. Bye, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us for 3 hours if you've been here the whole time. We see you in the chat. So we appreciate it. Bye.
Bye, guys.